And PL's the, okay, we're willing to go down 5K by 20 minutes and we will stall out the game Team Spirit style and beat you later. For me, it's all about how do we approach the fact that their game plan is very versatile, because for Team Spirit, they traditionally don't invest all that much in lanes. It's not like they give up that stage of the game, but for me, they're always putting themselves where they will scale better. But Yandex, I think, can attack you at all fronts. So if I'm Team Spirit, I'm thinking I want to play my own game, but look to see, okay, Watson has one of these 3 types of win conditions. Which one do we want to give them? Pick your poison so you know what you're coming up against.
To me, like the key question mark I'd have for Yandex is, do they also have the character? You know, because like I think these kind of series and these type of games, you might end up in a situation that's like not normal. You know, like you might be pushed really to your like limits and the boundaries of what you've experienced as a team. And Spirit, they've been there so many times, you know, back against the wall, best of 5, game 5, you think of TIs, you think of EWC, like it's happened to them so many times, and they've proven that they have an infinite amount of resources. And I'm talking about the mental side of things. And I don't think Yandex, they've been there yet. This could be a series where they get that side of what you need in order to be a championship team gets tested. It's like, you've done everything well, and all of a sudden, Collapse snatches the Aegis. And now you're just presented with a game where you're playing from behind and you don't deserve to play from behind, and Spirit is getting, you know, picking up some steam. And are you able to play that game too? Are you able to show the character, to find resources, to stay strong, to weather the storm? This is the question I think they might have to answer today in order to prove that yes, they have what it takes to go the distance. And as DM said, he said we've won a lot, but we're yet to get these kind of trophies. So today is going to be the best test you could ever ask for. Getting Team Spirit in a single elimination, you know, situation.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the factor that you're talking about, the way I interpret it, is at any point in the game, you have this idea of what the game should look like, what your timings were, what the formula for closing this game out is. And sometimes, like, Team Spirit's the ultimate team to just say, like, screw the formula, we're going to throw that wrench in there, and you're going to have to figure out how to apply your formula in a completely new setting, completely new circumstances. Collapse, I think he's blowing minds with how many times he's snatched that Aegis. Like, you gave that hypothetical, but I think it's more likely we see that at least one time in this series as opposed to not. And I think it's a great question that you posed for Yandex. I personally think that they're prepared. I really liked DM's mindset overall when he was communicating in the interviews leading into this series about the way they think about the game. I think expecting to have no expectations is the best route against Team Spirit, because you just never know what you're going to be against.
100%, you know, Collapse stealing Aegis. How many times have we seen your Toro pick up a DD and all of a sudden, you know, bringing them back from a 20k deficit? You have to be ready for this kind of game if you're Yandex. So, you know, this question will be answered pretty soon. We see the draft develop already. We're gonna get, you know, the
nice
in the Dota scene, I guess, on what is good. Yandex very much transcended at this point because they've been dominating, and everybody's looking at what they play and how they play it. So they will decide to go with the first pick profit, which we haven't seen really so far in this survival stage, not once, I think. We've seen Saxa play it once for them. Obviously, we've seen it played by some teams. I can only assume that it's, you know, an option for them. And then obviously Watson Prophet, that's an absolute classic also. I don't know how much he's played it the tournament yet, but he's played it in the past and very comfortable on the hero. So very open and flexible.
I'll never... So Prophet has a bunch of different identities in terms of what he offers to the game. There was the patch where he was mainly about maxing out the Sprout and ganking with that. Nowadays, you're maxing out the Trance, and when Saxa played it twice so far this event. I do believe they have the option to flex it between Sheer Jr., Watson, and Saxa, but I'll never forget watching Saxa. It was 13 minutes in, they are winning the game, and he TP'd to a tier 3 tower in front of the carry and denied creeps in front. Like, that was what he did with his time, and I'm like, okay, this is such a Saxa thing to do. This hero's very annoying. The thing about what they do on Yandex is they throw this problem that you have to address, and then it can come in many different forms. Is it the carry Prophet that's going to go for the Mjolnir carry items, or is it going to be the support Nature's Prophet that goes earn into Silver Edge and plays for ganks and macro around the map? You just don't really know what to expect. You have to account for all of them, be prepared for all of them, but also like stick to your own game plan at the same time.
And to me, the Earth Spirit pick of Spirit is interesting. I think it's a little bit risky in the sense that, I mean, obviously a great hero. Okay, they do ban the Slaughter, because like I was going to say, we've seen answers develop against this Earth Spirit mid, because it was probably the the first hero that really broke through in this tournament, where we started seeing it everywhere and it was dominating. And this is when the Slaughter mid started to appear. The Lina mid also made a comeback, mainly because of this matchup, because people are looking for options to shut down the Spirit and to stop his, map domination. So is this a Lina game for Shira Jr.? Is it not? They took away the Slaughter, which I think is a really good ban from Team Spirit. And Joker's also out. These are like the three most common answers we've seen so far against Spirit.
Yeah, you were talking about how well Shira Jr. has been performing. My first instance of watching Spirit versus Slaughter mid, I've since seen it like 3 or 4 times. Shira Jr. dumped on the Spirit. Like, it was like double up on CS, 2 levels ahead. There's a reason that they're banning it. And then all the other times I watched them, it wasn't that bad for Spirit. Like, still had a game, so there's some X factor that Shira Jr. brings to the table where I would be a bit nervous, like you said, to open up with Spirit, especially with, you've basically removed the flex potential of it. Usually it is flex between 2 and 4. Hoodwink's most likely the 4. So now, like, Shira Jr., he's ripe for the picking when it comes to counter picks.
These are like just really good heroes right now. Like, these heroes, they already have so much. Like, they have very strong laning. Like Undying Prophet, even Centaur, very dominant laner. And these heroes right now are as good as like in the early game. Then and same with the late game presence, because I'm thinking of Prophet late game. We've seen Centaur, with the hard build, with the cart eventually. Undying also, I think, scales incredibly well in the game. Especially from a support position where like, it's just a very well-rounded draft that by Yandex.
Yeah. Another range I'm mostly having my eyes this series. Don't know if it will come out this game on the arena. I think Foxy so far is the only one that played it on the carry role, and it looked so good. Of course, he's also the one that started the whole trend when it was
W in the group stage, and actually Shiro copied it yesterday. They picked him early on, and also beat 1W.
ကိုယ့်ကိုတိုင်ပြောင်းလို့ရတယ် healing လုပ်လို့ရတယ်မစိုးဘူးအခက်တာဒီ N9 ကို N9 တိုင်ကိုဒီကောင်ဘယ်လိုရှင်းမလဲ
combined with all these high HP heroes, even Spirit as a core doesn't really build
offlane ပဲကျန်တာ offlane nice talk
items, but we'll end up with like 3k 4k plus HP as the game goes on. I think
Data Robot carry တွေရော Amber mid တွေရောတိုင်ပတ်မယ်ဆိုပေမဲ့
is that
Centaur
is often he's rushing
hard. Watch out, nice talk ကလည်းနည်းနည်းတော့အနေများ
but hard as an item has been reworked
Don't be a
more region as you drop lower, but the Maledict, that's actually going to finish you off. So I think one of the few supports in the game that actually represents a gank duo or trio that can bring down a Centaur with a hard like early to mid game.
Yeah, it's a very good matchup for Witch Doctor. I think the Kaz also fares pretty well against the Centaur on the lane. Like, this Witch Doctor Kaz lane is a very scary lane to go against. So a very strong safe lane, on Spirit side. I think Yandex at this point, I'd say they pretty much committed I mean, actually they could still pick a Watson hero, to be fair. It could be Prophet and Centaur. I'm not the biggest fan of Prophet and Dying support duo, but
Nigma ပွဲရအရင်လာမှာမဟုတ်လားပြောင်းလာဟုတ်တယ်အစ Nigma ပွဲနဲ့ Nigma ဘတ်ဖွန်ပြီးတော့ဖဲကွန်သူတို့ပွဲအရင်လာမှာဟိုက schedule ပြောင်းသွားချက်ချင်းဘာလို့ပြောင်းသွားလဲတော့မပြောတတ်
they encounter Ember. And Ember's gonna have a lot
of
Prophet, global help, Prophet ulti eventually. Even Undying, it's just like a menace running around together. There's so much damage between DK, Soul Rape, and the Ember spells. So I have to say that I'm a big fan of the Yandex's draft. I think Spirit have a very solid draft too, but they're gonna have to figure out, a very strong 24 pick, and it's going to have to be Collapse. And I don't think we've seen offlaners really utilize that last pick as much, because safe lanes are just so strong these days that it's just they're usually struggling offlaners like in the first 10 minutes of the game. So I just wonder how Team Spirit is going to be able to bring this back, like in the draft.
Yeah, I'm thinking why ban the Viper? Because are you thinking maybe it's like a collapse Spirit flex to dominate this Ember Spirit, or is there a particular carry that you're wanting to pick, like Spectre or something that would suffer against Viper? This is a weird ban to me, Seb. I don't know what you think.
Weird, indeed, yeah. No, I don't know actually. Collapse Spirit, I don't think I've ever seen that.
If it's not a flex Spirit, then offlane Viper has to scare you for some reason. Maybe it's one of the few offlaners that can actually boot Undying 5 out of the lane with like combination with Hoodwink.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point, I think.
It's a good thing that Team Spirit hasn't used any of their bonus time, because this conundrum, they can spend a lot of time on this if they wanted to.
Yeah. I would be confused by that.
တော့က mask က combo မရှိဘူးကွာအဲ့လိုဒါဝှက်ရှောက်တာနဲ့တွေ့လို့ရ mask က
They're definitely cooking something.
ပုံမှန်ဆိုရင်ဝါချီတို့ဘာတို့ကောင်တာပြန်ထောက်တာ mask ကပြန်ထောက်တယ်ဒီ stamping နဲ့ထွက်ပြေးလို့မရအောင် arena ခတ်လို့ရ
At this point I do think
တန်တဲ့ကောင်တွေကိုနော် amber ကိုတော့လုပ်လို့မရဘူးဒါပေမဲ့တန်တဲ့ကောင်တွေအကုန်ရတော့
presence on the lanes because I don't think this
mask ပဲထွက်လာမလားမသိဘူး
We'll have to see how the matchup goes because we're getting now to the
nice talk ကဒါမှမ
mask the tournament, so these mid laners are absolutely dominant and they execute their lanes like perfectly. From my book is that Esporots should have the upper hand on Ember, like, for the first 5-6 minutes of the game. It starts turning when Ember gets to level 7, level 8 eventually, and obviously when he gets the mage there, now it's a whole different story.
အခုကောင်တွေကလည်း nature profile ယူဒီတိုင်းအယောင်ပြလာ
you know execute maybe he can just have a pretty dominant start and maybe it's just good enough to play versus Ember.
I mean, I'm curious if Yandex elects to go for the Watson Phantom Lancer. I know it's not the most amazing synergy with Undying in lane, but they've willingly picked it into counter picks like Axe in the off lane. They've blind picked it as well, and I don't think Team Spirit's draft deals with it particularly well because yeah, he has like one spell that hits AoE, but the rest of his stuff you can pretty easily dispel his damage over time.
They're banning mid laners, huh? Yeah, I think you're right. They think it's a collapse Tspirit.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Very
unusual.
Okay, so what I have seen some of these teams do is that they think if you leave that hero as is, they're gonna win. So even if they think that's probably an Esporots bid, but
Esporots offlane ရွှေ့သွားပြီးတော့ mid ကို Viper တို့ mid Mahikin တို့အဲ့လိုထွက်လာမှာဆိုလို့ထင်တယ်
because if you know they have a Largo and they're like
well that's got Esporots ဆော့လို့ဒီကောင်တွေဘန်သွားတဲ့ idea ကြီးအဲ့လိုမျိုးဘန်သွားတာနောက်ဆုံး last bit နှစ်ကောင်ကသူတို့ mid က Amber ကိုလာဖြုတ်မဲ့နှစ်ကောင်အဲ့ဒါ
that might be
Amber မထွက်သွားအောင်လုပ်မဲ့နှစ်ကောင်ကအဲ့တော့
it's like their only way out.
Esporots ကို mid လို့မတွက်ဘူးပေါ့
Yeah, it makes sense in that case. I mean I wouldn't be surprised that Collapse can play. I mean, this guy's so talented; he probably can play anything. But it's definitely something we haven't seen.
But Esporots ကလည်း little Undying ပါတော့
it would be cool. I mean, I'm kind of hyped for Collapse just to get to watch that.
Something new. We had 2 carry bans coming out from Team Spirit, both the TA and the Terrorblade.
Carry ပဲ9အောင်ပန်းတာ
So far,
Watson ကို shut down ချတာ
that Nature's Prophet will be in the hands of Sansa, but that is something that Yandex will reveal to us in about a well, they have about a minute, so they can take about a minute.
I'm just thinking a little bit about Morphling. I don't think it's the best matchup versus Witch Doctor, but I think it's pretty good against Kez. And it used to be like a go-to against Esporots, like for carry players, because once you start getting, you know, you get your ulti for Mirana. This is interesting. So I guess it's just on Mirana, and they will just play the Prophet position 1. It is a pretty good Prophet game, position 1, in my opinion. Like he has such a dominant like support duo with the Ember Spirit, which is. It's a pretty free Ember game, I have to say. So there's going to be a lot of, you know, opportunities to TP, a lot of info from the map. When you play with Prophet, like you really want your team to be active on the map so you can safely TP
Nature
because you just know that they can't stop you from farming these camps, and eventually you get so far ahead that it doesn't really matter which matchup you have, like carry matchup, you're so farmed that you just win as Prophet. It doesn't matter. So you have so much gold.
So yeah, most of the time, Prophet will leave the lane around level 5 or 6. Start he'll want to like rotate back to lane situationally if the opponent's like shown that there's somewhere else. But I actually think he's very susceptible to carry rotations through the gate because that is where he wants to linger, and Kez is great at doing this. So I am a bit concerned for this like 5 to 8 minute window for the Nature's Prophet, what his role in the game is going to be. So I think it's going to be the reason why I am concerned is because I think the Centaur is going to struggle in lane against this Witch Doctor Kez. And as a carry, I'm always thinking if the offlane is going to struggle, that's going to spill into my lane. They end up going for a collapsed Tide Hunter.
Which is also what I was saying earlier. It's like, sure, you have last pick offlane, but I think in this meta, you're laning versus Undying Prophet. It's like one of the most toxic lanes you could ever go to. So you have last pick, he's probably like, yeah, I don't know but I can't enter the lane. So you end up going for Tide, which I think is going to be a very rough lane for Tide. Like Undying versus Tide is just very good for Undying. We'll have to see. Tide Hoodwink. at some point it's gonna start being okay. If they get some stacks and Tart gets levels, I think as soon as he gets level 5, he can start, you know, entering the lane. I think Spirit, they have the scaling lineup for sure. You know, Earth Spirit, Tide, Kez, Cores, and on Yandex's side, if they're really far ahead, as I said, Prophet will outscale any hero if he's, you know, far ahead in gold, but they have to make the early game stuff happen, in my opinion, with this lineup.
Yeah, in my experience, the more polarized the lanes are in terms of strength, the more action happens in the early game, because teams, it doesn't make sense for you to just sit there and static the lanes. So I think both safe lanes are heavily favored. You have 2 mid-game carries that come online very quickly. You have very volatile mid-lane matchup where they want to get active very. I think we're going to see like a very high amount of rotations and amp up the pace in just the early game. And I'm looking forward to this low cooldown skirmishes that I think we're about to witness.
Are we also expecting Watson to just be everywhere with that in mind?
I would like to consider that he needs to be a +1, because Kez as a carry does that and offers that to the game, and I think that's why they might have left the Nature's Prophet in that role, because there's not many carries that do that.
Yeah, 100%. I think he should get active this game. He has a Tide that's laning versus non-dying, so Collapse is going to have a slower start to the game. Earth Spirit has been counterpicked theoretically, so it would be cool if the Kez could get involved.
So we don't really have a clear favorite here, then, based on the drafts.
No, we don't. We don't.
Good.
This is going to be, everything is up in
the
the air.
lane
You know,
or
two
lane,
of the best teams in the world battling it out.
I had
What
that
else
lane,
would you-
man.
What else can you ask for?
Mega Esprit and
Quite the
ba
treat for
DM
everyone watching this
I
best
don't
of
know.
3 series. Game 1 of our grand quarterfinals.
Scary
Coming your
lane
way
က
with
လည်း
Kazu and
အနေအများ
Sunspan.
Marana Wachi ဆိုတော့ Scary lane ကလည်းအနေအများပြီးရင် Nature Prophet ဆင်းပြီးတော့ white မှာနဲ့ဗာနဲ့ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်
This is going to be a hype matchup. That's a hype
Yandex
set to
က
start
lane
things
တော့
out.
တာ
Beautiful,
အကုန်လုံးလိုက် white လို့ရ
beautiful creature we have here on hand, played by the great DM, as we have a pause 33. I know he's been eliminated from the tournament, but he just wants to make sure the lights are up to snuff here.
He's got to keep up the legacy, of course, of his
Mati
lights
Yamle.
here as Yandex and
Duration
Spurs.
over,
Like he said, this is going to be an absolute banger. Also have to
Mati
remember,
like,
this
wow.
is single elim. You don't get no second chances. You know,
Right.
you got to go up against the big boys.
Duration
And-
over
Yeah, it is light.
They get
Duration
it.
over
Sasha used to be
lane-
on a team with 33.
lane
quite
now
a
နည်းနည်း
lot.
ဖြည့်ရှင်းလိုက်
Shouldn't
နိုင်
he be
ရ
the one to then
အဲ့ဒါကို
stop
ခရီးတွေ
this
ခေါ်ပြီးသွားလိုက်
legacy
ပါ
of
အဲ့
the
ဆိုရင်
lights
စင်
since
ပြီ
they have so much beef, as people like to keep saying?
အာလီပိုင်းလေး survive ဖြစ်သွားရင်
So
Is it beyond beef?
they're playing tomorrow.
Okay.
They can
just
deal
double
with it.
checking. As we get this wrapped up here, and yeah, if this doesn't go 3 games, I'm going to be severely disappointed. We've
I
been
thought
saying
you
that
said-
over and over again.
I do
Out of all the games
It's
we've
all
had,
down,
because
man.
we've had a lot of like 2-0s and storms, like one way or the other. This is like we
So
talked
you don't
about
get
this
that,
playoff
you
stage. This is 2 of the best
အဲ့
teams.
တိုင်းဟန်
and
တာ defend နဲ့
if you would have asked people beforehand, I wouldn't be too surprised if these
Oh,
2
you don't
names
get
would
that.
come up a lot in like, what's your top 3 for the tournament? You know, Spirit, Yandex especially. I think they've been on fire. They won Blast not long ago. They're looking very good. I think they have very, very improved players. Like to me especially, I would say CJ is one of the most improved players of like this entire season. His KDA of the last 8 games is like ridiculous. And I think when it comes to Spirit, a lot of their players kind of do the talking themselves. You don't really have to hype them up because we all know what these players do.
Yeah, Maposhka back as a coach, and you can see the difference that he makes. I mean, I would assume maybe it's just a coincidence. You know, they win 2 TIs with him as player, and now they're ramping things up, which they've looked very underwhelming for most of this year, I want to say.
To be fair, I
right?
feel like they do that in most years, even when he's not there.
I mean, that's
Then you get to the end.
they show up to the big tournaments.
Yeah, it's-
I mean, it's all part of the play. You don't want to play too well early on because then you just get your heroes nerfed.
True, like Falcons.
That's right. Falcons got decimated. Like
Yeah.
every MR hero is just nerfed to the ground.
But then it doesn't matter because he goes to the next one and then he goes back to the Timber after like 1 year and then he just goes 10-0 anyway. So who cares? If you're good enough, you can make up for all the other things, whether your hero gets nerfed, you find a new build, you do something different in the lane. But yeah, I'm very excited about this early game that we have here because, you know, we heard them talk about it on the panel. I do think the
Long night no
overall
see.
aggression should be on the Yandex's side early on, but it also has to be. If I'm looking at later, you know, Spirit's mid-game teamfight is crazy good with the Tide, but he is also a slow and clunky hero. So this is something that Yandex can abuse with the heroes early on.
All right, how many Aegis steals in this series for Collapse?
2.
2.
Two.
I'm going with, you know, 1 is boring. 0 is whatever because it's collapse. You can't say 0. It means you're stupid.
You got some stats on that, didn't you? Some real stats.
Well, so supposedly his actual, like, how many ages has he stolen throughout his career is like 14 or 15.
I'm going to call it's Knoxville.
You're calling out Knoxville?
That's bullshit. There's no way that's true. I've cast about 10 of them. So you're saying I've cast most of his ages steals?
It's possible. Maybe,
no way.
Maybe you're the dude.
That's true. Maybe I'm just that good. I'm the good luck charm for a collapse. So we got the Spirit brothers in the mid lane. Cheer versus Laurel. Ember versus Earth. And how is this supposed to go?
So we've seen this many times now. So from what we've seen and also overall strength is Esporots does very well early on. I mean, both of them just kind of farm, but throughout the game, I definitely give the advantage to the Vessel. You're not really ever in threat. The good thing that I like this game about the Esporots is that Esporots is incredibly good against Nature's Prophet. If we think about what Nature's Prophet wants to do, he's going to TP and set up plays, right? He wants to collapse on a tower. Esporots, first of all, you're very good at making the first move onto the Nature's Prophet or answering that first rotation of the game. And overall, with how Laurel has been playing, definitely got my eyes on him.
And for the other side, DM playing the centaur that we've mentioned. I mean, how good is Malady going to need to be in this laning stage? Panel was kind of talking about how he needs to bully collapse.
Yeah, you have Nature's Prophet Undying. It's a super good lane, especially against the Tide Hunter, which was last pick. But collapse, you should be in for a good game. Talk about the fact that his hero's a bit slow, but there's an insane value for the Tide chart in this game, right? You know, you got the Anchor against the Ember, so you can't Remnant. You also have the Anchor against the Stampede, which means it's completely useless. You're not going to be running away. But the good thing is for Spirit, they've got the Chicken Man, you know, Mr. Yatoro.
The Chicken Man, yes.
There's something special about this CIS Kez. Maybe it's like the innate aggression that those carry players have, because Kez is this type of hero. He's very squishy, but he deals an insane amount of damage. And I do think that Yatoro definitely rates up there. Well, he rates up there overall for the best carry, but also for one of the best Kezes that we currently have.
Yeah, but there's an Ember Spirit on the other side. He has a taunt that uses shish kebabs.
Is there going to be, maybe that's the counter.
Is there going to be chicken shawarma on the menu here
today? There could be. And hopefully it's better than the one you had recently.
Yeah, it was not good.
Oh, Collapers.
Yeah, getting quite low.
Oh, man.
Fire to survive.
Rightfully so.
And Panel kind of talked about how he might have a bit of a rough laning stage. Malady.
Like this,
he does have 3 men.
This match has a lot to do with the supports, but this is another strength of like Nature's Prophet carry. You can always put the Treants on like the side lane, help your 5 to bully the post 4. And yeah, it's just overall a very good lane for Malady. And I've been very impressed with Zombie. Like overall, you know, it helps you with a good lane, with the Roche later. You can get the shard. People have been buying it more and more. And Malady, this guy, he slaps on the Zombie. He's not afraid to go through the gate, run mid, just go in and die, respawn, and just do it straight again.
I mean, one of the games that we cast, he started, I think, I want to say 5-0 on the Undying, something crazy early on.
He had like a 16-minute blade mail shard on Undying with Treads.
Was completely absurd. But finally get to this stage of the playoffs that both teams are going to be pretty evenly matched. So every little mistake, we'll see if the other
Ember fling at Sony now by Sony. Match up Ember fling up.
He's doing
family gone
you have like a lot of sustain still on CJ because he's been able to dodge a kick or two. Maybe giving up a bit of his lead here because he's tanking way too many tower shots. Because I do think he was starting to get slightly ahead in this mid lane. Bardlal kind of able to, I would say, recover the lane.
So far, not me doing a good job of keeping Malady outside of the range of the Tide, as DM will take a little Maledict action.
Yeah, this is a hero that I don't think we've seen too many Witch Doctors ourselves, but I saw it a lot in a lot of the other games, and he just looks incredibly good. All these fat, beefy boys in the offlane that are being played. We all know, you know, through the history of DOTA2, Maledict destroys these heroes. You know, the Tide Hunters, the Centaurs, whoever else is playing, you know, Axe. Witch Doctors just looked very good. Also, the fact that your Death Ward is pure damage. The hero has very good talents as well.
Baby,
trying to run this off here. He's just going to die to the tower if he's not careful. Blood Grenade coming out from Root.
Nice.
So punished in the end from Chira's
side.
Gonna be very happy with Laurel just literally right-clicking the fountain, wobbling his way over there. They kill off Watson. That was
very
good. Expected should be able to finish the job here on the collapse, although it might be able to get the kill. The gush
အာမလည်းရှော့ခံတာဝေါဟေ့အဲ့ဒါကြီးကတော့အစာကြီးအဲ့လင်းကအဲ့လိုတောင်းမတာတင်တာတောင်းတာလို့မဟုတ်ဘူးအဲ့လိုမျိုးချလို့မရ What's that ဘလို့တောင်သိသွားတော့ဒီ hero ဒီ hero
But especially also in this top lane.
And I need to profile. They don't know.
A lot of Tide hunters in this lane. They would go crack and shell and like just chill and I'm gonna tank through the tree and stuff. All of these plays don't happen. Sometimes aggression is your best defense because getting a double kill in this lane, honestly it's kind of criminal.
အဲ့မှာကြီးဘာလေးလဲမသိသလိုးတာဟုတ်ပါသလိုးတာမဟုတ်ဘူး magic damage ပုံများ
You expect the most stupid things.
Life is chaos, as they say. And you can see mid lane. I mean, how far back does this put Chira Jr. in the mid lane matchup now? We're getting a minute away from this first power.
လိမ့်နာမယူထားဘူးကွာလားနောက်ပိုင်း Esprit တွေလိမ့်နာမယူကြတော့ဘူး What happened? Yo, 1-3 so အလဲမှာရှော့သွားပြီ
Second death, not me all over the place now. Makes his way to the mid lane, and I assume
ကိုယ်ပြရ
for the kill.
smuggler တွေဖြစ်နေပြီ
It's also that Esporots is being played a little bit different, right? He has no levels in the rolling boulder. That was like another reason why Ember was so good. Well, if you rolled on him, he dodges it with the slide of fist. You end up in the tier 1 tower, but with the high levels in silence and the kick, you know, they buff those spells. They're way better. So find ourselves a secondary kill onto CJ here.
We're gonna watch a replay. Chira.
Oh, slowly silence ဆွဲလိုက်ဗျမိုက်တယ်ကွာ
Just on the edge.
Wow.
That was as close as it gets.
What a blade.
Perfect execution. The good thing is still for Yandex, they do have the top 3 CS on the board.
လက်ပြနေကွာပဲပြနော်အမှန်တကယ်နေကွာဘွဲ့ဒီနေ့လာမှာ
You know, level 6 is coming out.
ဒီနေ့လာမှာသူ schedule change ွာ
available just yet for Saxo though.
ဒီနေ့အားနေတာတကယ်လက်ပြန်မသိကြအောင်
It's gonna be bottom. Root picks up the haste.
အဲ့ဒီအားရင်တော့တက်လာတယ်
Malady is gonna suffer the consequences. Actually puts down the
ဒီနေ့နေကွာဝက်ကြည့်ရမှာပေါ့လုံးဝ
gets the deny.
နိုင်ဖြစ်သွား
Would have been a lot of gold going the way of Spirit, so a little silver lining for Yandex.
အနိုင်ပြကြအောင်အနိုင်ပြကြအောင်ဟိုမှာ
and actually just gets killed off by Watson. I'm not
ဖန်
sure
ဖူး
how
တာ
that
မှာ
happened.
No, we're seeing some good shit happening. I'm loving what's going on.
It must have been super
level
low.
1
No, definitely he was
ပူလောင်နေနေလေးဖြစ်သွားတာ
see towards the tail end.
ဟိုပူလောင်နေနေမဟုတ်ဘူး level 1 strength ပူတာအဲ့လိုအခါခိုးရင်ရှစ်လာပူလာမျိုးပြောတာ
easy to block. You don't have any
ပုံမှန်ဆိုရင် strength 4ပဲခိုးတာကိုအခု
squeeze in.
ကြာကြောင်းနေဆိုရင်6လာ8လာမျိုးအဲ့လောက်ခိုး Oh, yeah,
I'm not seeing the arrow quite yet for Sox.
I mean,
their setup is not the
craziest.
Keeping chains is a classic.
Yeah.
To some degree, Sprout, Hoof Stomp to a degree.
Definitely needed the early levels of the Star Storm early on to help with the lane.
Early Ring of Health going to be denied here for the time being.
Malady wants to go for his path at play.
Oh, they were saying that. Malady are surely.
And they are very, very ready.
Oh,
Watson coming with
I was saying that. What's I was saying that?
First the falls collapse. That's about the crack.
Now they are low. Nah, level 7 machine. Nah, level 7 machine.
The Wisdom Shrine.
Wisdom was so yeah. Oh my god.
Easy triple. He just stands there and right clicks and somehow comes out on top.
What sound ready there? What they la? And bala le ni cha profile le teleportation saying. Oh my god, ultra gate.
All right, so everything unexpected is happening at the moment.
Even with this Wisdom Shrine invasion, they didn't even have the tombstone. You know, it's not the
same. Yadoro ba sin la ma de la tege do. Yadoro ba sin la you wine oh.
Early on, and it's also what we heard earlier, right?
အဲ့မှာရမှာနေချာဘာအဲ့နေရာမှာတေဝိုင်းတော်တော်တိတာအောင်အဲ့တော့
Maybe if Yatoro can look over and have an early TP, you know, you could counterplay it. Of course, he didn't have his
ဟုတ်တယ်ရတူလာမှာသွေးပြည့်မှန်တာပြည့်ဒီကောင်ပေါ်တယ်မရှိဘူးလား Where is Yatoro နောက်ဘက်ကတစ်ထောင်ကျော်လောက်ပြတ်သွားပြီ
His comrades
ဖိပြီလေလိုက်ဖိပြီလေဟိုက
they're going to find Rue caught off guard and taken out swiftly.
ချင်းဟမ်လဲပြောင်းအောင်ချင်းကိုဖြစ်သွား
So next Nature's Prophet ult in 10 seconds, and he's very close to a Maelstrom. This must be one of the fastest Maelstroms we've ever seen, because you don't usually get some random ultra kill injection minute 7.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 3K lead already for Yandex. See if they can separate from the back, or if Spirit has something up their sleeves. I mean, in terms of fighting potential for Spirit, we've talked about Kaz. He's going for, looks like the Mage Slayer.
Yeah, he did
things out.
Did lose his ring of health earlier, but he's getting it back now. And we've seen Centaurs so many times. If you don't shut this hero down,
oh yeah, Toro actually goes back in and gets hoof stomped as a result.
Uses the that's about
yeah, invisibility,
get away,
invincibility of course.
Shira,
Invis on Invis action, not for much longer.
Spot him now. Can they go for the searing chains into arrow? Soxa.
No mana.
Unfortunate for the side of Yandex. Actually read this beautifully, but wouldn't be able to finish the job there, so we'll back away in the end.
Okay, still some good early pressure as they do force out Yatoro out of the lane, which means tier 1 down bottom is gonna fall, and in the top lane, you still have a full HP tower. Got your Undying there, you've got Treants to hold it off. So Yandex definitely, like even with some of the early kills that came out, they now have 3k gold lead, and they are taking the first tier 1 of the game.
3k ပါလိသွားတယ်ဟုတ်ပါတန်းတာပေါ်မှာတစ်ချက်လေးပဲချက်လေးပဲhero key ရလိုက်တာပဲ
The difference as Melody is taking a bit of pressure, but the
ဒီလောက်
difference between
မ
Collapse
တိုင်းနဲ့
and Watson right now is illegal.
zombie
Level 5 to 9 and double net worth.
Yeah, that is rough as Collapse. Not used to being in such a position, getting chased.
Collapse.
This will take a while.
တော့ပြီလား
Watson
ချော
actually
သေးဘူး
not
ရှောက်ပြေးနေအချိန်ဆွဲနေတာ
wants to get
တန်း
some
ပြီးပါ
farm
သုံး
stand.
ပေးလိုက်
Will
ပြီ
help them catch up. Pops
Maybe.
the Kraken shell, but to no avail. Yandex in the last few minutes have gotten everything that they've wanted. See Spirit take a smoke, but like you said, Collapse. 10 minutes in, no
တန်းပြီးမရှိဘူး
ravage
အောက်က
yet.
ကောင်သူတက်လို့ရ
This is a good play that Spirit are setting up for, right? You know that is Centaur who's playing here, quite aggressive. Tier 1 is on, and he has no Stampede. That's the big deal. He did use it in the last play up top.
They're going to start things out.
What?
Shooters coming for him,
Show up,
and
Conley.
with that, Maledict will eventually tick out. Only question is who gets the kill. It will be the Chicken Man, Mr. Yatoro.
chicken man အဲ့ level 3 အဆုံးနဲ့ကွာ
Necessary kill
ရ
down
တူ
here,
က
otherwise he will just play down here forever.
1 တစ်စစ်2တစ်စစ်
So
3
making
အ
use
ဆုံး
of
နဲ့
the fact that they did use the Stampede aggressively. I've seen this in more and more games now. People are really trying to shut down Collapse. It happened yesterday as well against Liquid. Just continuous moves into his lane. I mean, he's very weak. Even if you try and help him out, it's just like a defensive ravage into kind of nothing. So second tower on the deck here for Yandex.
Maledy, the same level as
ဟာ
Collapse.
ဆေးရုံ
Gonna
ဖောင်
use
မှာ
that
ပြောင်း
flash
ရော့
bomb. Gonna get rolled on though, so TP support for Collapse.
တိုင်းအဲ့တိုင်းကိုချိုး
Desperate to get back in this game, and
I
this
think
will
he's
help.
dead.
They're gonna get the tombstone
Yeah,
as well. So
25 ကြတော့
Collapse
ရ
actually being
Good help.
fed a little bit of an injection there.
Yeah, he will be quite happy about that. So, you know, Malady kind of feeling himself. Of course, sometimes when you play the zombie, you just
ဒီ
want
က
to...
မှာဝက်ဒီနေ့ဆိုပြီးမနေ့ကမှဆော်ရပြင်သွား
You just
ဟမ်
wanted to show him
ဒီ
that,
ကမှာ
hey,
လိန်နာခံလိုက်ရပြီလို့
Hey, man, you need 3
ဘာ
friends.
ချိန်သွားလဲမသိဘူးကွာ
Soxa
Beji.
gets opened up on, but has that leap at his disposal. I mean, how hard is it to hit arrows?
ကိုရီဆိုမောင်းအောင်တွဲထား
So
ဒီက
it's
မှာ
kind of- I'm talking about long
ဟိုဟာပွဲ
arrows.
ကို
It's on chains,
နှစ်
which
ပွဲ
is...
စာ
I
ပေါ့
believe
ဖယ်
it
ကွန်
should be
2 စီ
maxed out soon enough. Collapse, though. At the
ဖယ်
same
ကွန်
time,
2 စီ
Malady
ဘတ်ဖုံး
is
ဝင်အာ
As the first
On the way out.
magnetize of the game onto Maledy, who,
He still has
now that we talked about him being level 6, has been dying quite a bit. A nice stone.
တော့ပြီ
Is it enough to tick away? Pops the
Nope.
stick, is fine. Meanwhile, though,
Yeah.
bushwhack onto Soxa with the Maledict as well. So across the board, it's a 1-for-1, but Laurel gets completely collapsed on. Big roll, though. Earn charge applied as Chiro wants to finish the job with a sleight of fist. If he can find
2
him.
seconds.
Not quite enough is now
Silent
TP
ဖြစ်သွားတယ်
support
ရာတူလို့ဟုတ်တယ်နော်
Yatoro.
Stampede
Stampede
ထွက်
can
သွား
help
ပြီ
out, though, as Chiro attempts to exit. Gonna get
နေသွားပြီဟာ
cast up, maledicted up, and now he knows he's
Oh.
dead. So good turnaround there from Spirit. A little bit too much of a chase from Chiro. I'll see if Spirit can now pressure this tier
ဒေါက်
1.
တာဒေါက်တာညွန်နေတာအမွေးတိုင်းလိုက်ထွန်းနေတာဒီကောင်သိလား
Yandex are ahead,
အမွေးတိုင်းလိုက်ထွန်းပေးနေတယ်
right, with that type of draft, and they've been playing very, very well.
Hero Key က12မိနစ်မှ19အောင်ဖြစ်
Now
နေ
the second overplay for him
ဒီပွဲကချကြ
in
တာ
this game, and honestly, Spirit are they kind of need those, you know, and
KO ပါ
get a
KO
little
ပါ
bit
duration
more
over
gold, hold back on the
အဲ့လေ
map, not lose your tier 1 tower this early on. as
duration
well.
over
'Cause
ပြီး
this is
ကွာ
a big
မင်းတို့စောကျင်တယ်
benefit
လို့
here
ဆို
for Team Spirit.
အားလေးမပြတ်သွားဖို့ရည်ကြည့်တယ်ဟို73မိနစ်မှာနောက် 3k လောက်ပဲ lead တယ်
Who
ဆို
has the
တော့
better Roche
အ
take?
ရင်မဆိုးသေးဘူးဒီမှာ stat အုပ်တွေပါတယ်တိုက်ဟန်တာပြန်စားလိုက်ရင်အချိန်ကြီးကောင်းတယ်
It has to
အချိန်ကြီး
Well,
ကောင်းတ
it
ယ်
has to be dire. Like, right, you have Nature's Prophet, who's he's an ultra monster. Like 8,000 gold at 13 minutes is, we're talking about Alchemist net worth here. And most importantly, you've got the zombie man. Of course, Undying very, very good at Roche. You've got the Flesh Golem, you've got the Tombstone, which of course means in return that Collapse can up his numbers on the Aegis steals.
Yep, very true. I'm sure a lot of the Aegis steals that I'm thinking of were him actually getting Roche as well, technically speaking, which felt like a steal, but 14 seems too low.
It does seem too low. Maybe it's like when he got the last hit and the Aegis. I don't know if that's like what this
No,
stat is for.
it
as
has to
opposed
be
to-
no, it has to be snatching.
Okay, yeah, it does seem too low. But we'll of course double check the numbers. We've got the Lenovo Legions to help us out with that.
Yep, that's right.
ဒါပြန်ပြီအဲ့
Well, actually,
14မိနစ်
some farm out into
Davi.
this triangle here.
ဒီတစ်ခေါက်တော့အကုန်ရှိနေတယ်ရာတူလိုပါရှိနေတယ်
Shadow, They want Rue. should be able to clean up. Although silence comes out, making
Hold
it a little
there.
more difficult along with
level 3 မတော့ဘူးလား
Witch Doctor.
Ah,ဒီဘက်မှာလည်းတေးကုန်ပြီ what happened
Melody's got beef with Spirit or what? Bro just keeps running here at minute 14.
Yeah, he's a bot for the shrine.
Yeah,
he's programmed to need that thing.
Minute 7, I go with Stem Shrine.
That's right. DM. It's funny because we talked about this a little bit yesterday. A lot of times when you see a centaur, it's like, okay, he's gonna get an okay amount of farm. He's gonna get this cookie cutter.
ဝါချီကဟတ်မသွားဘူး
This
ပဲ
tournament, I feel like it's completely changed.
ဒီကောင်ဒီလောက်ဖတ်နေတာဟတ်မသွားဘူးဟိုသွားနေအောင်လူတက်ဆော့သွား
No, all the time. Like you have a good early laning stage, you go for the dominator, and it feels like
Beh
once
hao
you get
ka
the
wo
armor component, it's
Beh
really hard
buff
to
ko
knock
phyat
you
pho
out
le
of the
bo.
lane. And Team
Sin
Centaur
la
has done a good job. You
Dolo
want
la
to
ara
give
ye
him
di
tier
boy.
1 for the Centaur, either bring a couple heroes to him because he farms so easily.
မလဲတွေကလည်းဖြတ်လို့မရ
As
ဘူး
a cheat code right now.
တောက်ဆူး
you
ကျိုး
just
က
have
လည်း
to
ဖြတ်လို့မ
use
ရ
those
ဩ
return, you double edge,
Magnetize ကို
you
ဖြတ်လို့ရ
regen, and in the meantime you send
Esprit
your
Magnetize
super
အဲ့လောက်ကြောက်
just holding your
အားမို့
next
silent
wave.
ပေါ့နော်
So you don't
silent တွေပါဖြတ်ပေးလို့ရတယ်
and then at some point you have good items.
Magnetize
and you tell your team,
ကိုဖြတ်ပေးလို့
I have
ရတယ်
some heat, you guys do your thing.
အမ်ဘာအတွက်ဆက်ပေးထားတာကွာဒီကောင်ဘာမှမဟုတ်သလားအမ်ဘာရုပ်တရက် silent မိပြီးတော့ show သွားမှာလို့တင်တယ်
So takes off magnetize.
သူ့ဘောဘောအတွက်
Cast can be reflected. Anything else I'm missing that's
Vessel,
very important.
silence,
ဒါတူတို့က
the
ဓာတ်ဆူ
super
သွားနေ
test
တယ် okay
stacks.
ဓာတ်ဆူရအောင်
Good. The minus armor on the gush
Yep.
နောက်လည်း1500
also gives you more HP regen. Because all Centaur really needs to get big is he needs HP regen that you can spam double edge and just keep spamming it off cooldown, stay high HP.
Esprit အော်လေးသားပေးလို့
And
ဂိုင်း
it
လိုက်
looks
ပြီ
like
ဂိုင်း
overall
နေ
how
တယ်
Yandex are moving. I'm liking this one because 60-minute active
အဲ့ကောင်
room
တွေကအမြဲတမ်းအဲ့လိုမျိုးလုတ်တတ်တယ်
is
စပရ
kind
စ်
of
က
what you're looking for here.
ဒီပွဲတိလားအမှန်တိုင်းပြောရရင်အဲ့တိုက်ဟန်တာနေရာမှာမားဆိုလို့ရှိရင်
1400 HP Ash Legion Shield and Flesh Golem.
ပိုကြိုက်
Collapse
အဲ့
just
နေ
finished
ချာ
his
ဘလော့
first
ဖစ်ကယ်ဒမ်းမဘလော့လို့ရရနေ
item.
တန်
16
နေ
minutes in
မား
the
က
game, he has the wraps online.
ပြီး stampede ကောင် control လို့ရ
Yeah, opening up onto your Toro, able to get
dress
the
ပါတယ်
fail
ဒီ
off,
တစ်ခေါက်
though.
dress ပါတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သေဦးဝင်သွားပြီ
They get the roll in
ဝဆန်မိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့တိုင်ထောင်လိုက်ပြီအဲ့တိုင်ကြီးကအာယုံကြီးတန်းနေရလဲချော်တယ်အဲဝေယုံသုံးကားရဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီကော်လက်ဆာဂျားမှာတကောင်နဲ့တိုင်ချိုးပြီးတော့ရှော့ပြီလားမသိဘူး
DM looking for a hoof stomp, no connection made.
ဘာမှတော့မဖြစ်သွားဘူးဒီဘက်မှာတော့ stampede မရှိတော့ဘူး one night share လည်းမရှိတော့ဘူး
Looks like it'll be denied.
one night share လည်းမရှိတော့ဘူးဒီဘက်မှာဘာရှိသေးလဲ rabbit ရှိသေးတယ်
No casualties from either
magnetize
side.
မရှိတော့ဘူးဆိုပြီးမဲ့ rabbit တစ်ခွက်နဲ့ကအလုပ်လုပ်လို့ရသေးတယ် wish tower ဆင်းနေ rabbit နဲ့က
I would say for Spirit. I mean,
Well,
you did a
yeah.
good job getting out there, right?
Combo,
Raven's
combo.
Wail grappling out, but if you're Yandex, looked like they had a potential there to maybe stampede on top of him, get the hoof stomp connection on top. Because again, any seconds or minutes where Spirit get to keep their tier 1 mid alive is absolutely crucial. It is the tier 1 that kind of matters the most.
Yeah, this thing is dead. The question is how many heroes
Good down,
will
yeah.
try to defend. Malady looking for the potential deny. Not going to get it.
I'm
He's gonna
being
get
low.
rolled on.
Yo.
And another death to the Undying. The Malady racking them up with 6 at this point.
Well, he will insta-respawn, so I guess in terms of his mind, who really cares, but...
Yeah, that's the second use of Ceaseless Dirge in 8.
Longest cooldown that we've got in the game. Rightfully so, it's free Aegis. Bro can run around, feed, and come straight back up.
Remember when those were talents for heroes like Lina?
Oh, thank God we removed those. Or when it was on Bloodstone. And if you had high charges, you could like just suicide and respawn.
I forgot about that. I mean, there was many
All
different
in
variations
here,
of
guy,
charges
like,
on Bloodstone as well.
Oh, yeah.
စပရစ်ဝင်တာ
Kind of missed
ဟိုဟာ
some
ဘတ်
of
တော့
it.
3 series ထည့်ထားတယ်
Watson with
ဒါ
the
ပေမဲ့
Mjolnir,
ဂိမ်း
and
1
just about
ဝင်
finished
တာ
the
က
Hurricane Pike.
Honestly,
nene.
crazy net worth on him. I'm surprised that Yatoro is able to keep up.
ဝါချီအဲ့လိုဟတ်တွေပိုင်းနဲ့မာတောင်သွားပြီဆိုရင်တက်တာရန်ခတ်သွားမှာ
And he's super dead.
ဒါပေမဲ့မလောက်တော့ဘူးလို့ထင်နေ
As lead hasn't really grown in favor of Yandex at all. Spirit closing the gap a bit in terms of the differential.
Oh, the last couple of minutes are quite bad for Yandex. Maybe in terms of the net worth doesn't reflect it all that much, but they didn't get to take Spirit's mid tier 1 and they lost their own. Now they lost their safely in tier 1 tower. So you can see the lead shrinking a little bit. Collapse.
Attempting to TP. Not going to have any stuns here. They almost had the
Ooh.
damage though. My
တော့
goodness.
ကန်နေလေ
He has the Blink Dagger online. Going to go for the shard as well. Is it going to try to initiate onto Chira Jr.? The silence keeps him at bay for a bit, but eventually finds the distance. Very, very mobile hero, especially once you get that Aghanim Scepter a little bit later in the game. He's going for the BKB first into the Kaya.
So I would say kind of a normal build, right? Yeah, very like safe. You're playing up against silences. It makes sense. You want to be able to keep scaling, but also go into these fights and not really be in too much threat of dying.
အခုတည်း Rabbit မထုတ်ရသေးဘူး
Collapse
နော်
early, he had a slow game, rightfully so. He's
Rabbit ကိုင်လာပြီး လိုက်ပဲဖျဲချောင်းတ
not
ကယ်
easy
ထုတ်
to
ပြီး
kill
ချတာ
anymore.
မျိုး
Yeah,
မရှိ
now
သေး
also
ဘူး
has
ပေါ့
a blink dagger to follow up with a ravage, and once he gets blink shard combo, you're suddenly not that safe anymore in Yandex. Mirana can't leave, Stampede is useless, and Ember can't Remnant out.
မိပြီအေးရမယ် Rabbit ပါပေးလိုက်တယ် nice
Just for him, and well
ဝိုင်းရိုက်တိုင်းတို့အရန်ကောင်းတယ်အရန်ကောင်းတယ်ထွက်တော့
will go to the grave. Malady there too late. And this will provide a little bit of opportunity for Yotaro to catch up in the farm department. Like he said, he is farming well. It's just that Watson has been farming next level.
Oh yeah, I mean he's been farming heroes and everything else on the map, but just overall good read and also nice vision that Spirit got off earlier, right? Not me with a very aggressive ward in the Dire jungle. Was able to spot out Watson there on the prior kill. Let's see, CJ is playing down here.
Yeah, they're making a
Rabbit မရှိပဲလိုက်ချတယ်မှားမယ်နော်အဲ့ဒါမှားတယ်နော်အမားကြီး Yandex ကပြန်လှုပ်တင်တယ်ဒီအချိန်ဘာလို့ Nature Prophet ပေါ်တယ်ဆင်းလာလို့ရပြန်လှုပ်တင်တာတော်သေးမလိုက်တင်ဘူးအေးလိုက်ခံရပြီဟိုမှာမိုးဝါနေတကောင်ပြုတ်ကြလာမယ်ဟာကိုခင်ရတယ် Tspirit
Got a force that.
As this squirrel, Nami should die here. Makes it a little bit more difficult.
ဟိုပါသွားပြီ
Turn
ပေါ့
this into a torment.
Commander ပါသွားပြီ
Looks to be relatively free.
Yeah, they absolutely should be able to. I want to
Tspirit ကလည်း Nature Prophet ရှောနေတော့တဲ့လားတကောင်လောက်ထက်ရမလားဆိုပြီးလိုက်နိုင်တာရလို့ရှိရင်သူတို့ ယူလို့ရ
Yeah, he bought his own shard again, right?
တော်မန်နာယူဖို့ plan နေတာပေါ့အဲဒါကြောင့်မရမကအတင်းကြီးလိုက်တာအဲ့လိုလိုက်တာသတင်းလုံးပြန်မှောက်သွားနိုင်တယ်
He's getting closer to his BKB
ကန်
and
ကောင်း
he
တာ
gets
ဒီ
the
ကောင်
shard from the Tormentor, so he'll be quite happy.
Absolutely.
Or never.
Collapse. Again, does not have the dead in the water yet. In fact, how close is he?
Very close.
400 away.
It's gonna make a huge difference. Of course, you'll have a couple cores that will get their BKBs.
Yeah, Chira is about to purchase the recipe.
ဝေးစမ်းလို့ပါသွားပြန်ပြီ
Unfortunate timing for Collapse in terms of the Ember Spirit specifically. DM will stampede
No, man,
to
no, man.
safety.
Esprit.
Saksa inside the tombstone. He gets grabbed by his ally. Will leap out. Eventually falls. But they actually got a cancellation of the TP. So another death for Malady.
Ooh.
Double kill for Yotaro, getting those
Very
Deso
okay.
stacks up.
လူရှာယူသွား
Full
အဲ့
to
ဆို
his
လေ
name.
They're finding some big kills on Spirit.
Yeah, his BKB about to come out as well for Yotaro.
Because a lot of the items that are coming out right now are very impactful for Spirit, right? We're talking about the double BKB that both Lol and Yotaro have. You have Collapse, who has a multitude of items. He's got the Rats, the Blink, now the Shard completed as well. And this is Roche on the deck. There's no Tombstone, no Stampede. And it's not like they kill it poorly, you know. You've got Desolator, you've got Gush for the minus armor, and they will constantly say.
Tspirit လေးသားကတော့လုံးဝဆင်မဝပဲ
Yep, not too
ဆင်
shabby.
မဝပဲအေးကြရသွားပြီ
Yandex is going to be aware of this. The Treants are going to provide a little bit of vision.
Very good
and with
positioning.
that, actually, Spirit exit the pit. They know how easy it is to steal Aegises.
I mean, Ru has nice positioning too, right? He's got his ward on the right side to also cover if there's ever
ပြန်
a
ချ
storm.
မှာကွာအရင်
Oof, the Sleight of Fist actually
ဘယ်
breaking
ရင်
his
ချ
hold
ဟို
from
မှာ
two heroes here.
အန်တိုင်းကိုတွေးနေအန်တိုင်းကိုအရင်သွားလုံးမှာโอเค
They have Malady set.
အန်တိုင်းကိုအရင်သွားလုံး
First
တယ်
dead
ဟု
in
တ်
the
ပြီ
water of the game. That's going to be an easy pickoff. Does he have his
Oh,
innate up
oui.
again? It's been a while. No, still a couple minutes away. So that's
Moonlight
30
Shadow
seconds
net.
with no undying as Moonlight Shadow activate. Nice seeing chains onto 2. The arrow will
အိုး
hit
အဲရို
Laurel.
5 second
No
အဲဒီမှာမိသွားပြီ
follow.
silent
Bushwhack connects onto Chira Jr. though.
BKB
As BKB gets
oh.
patched up, will Remnant out.
သေသွားလောက်ပြီ
He's
သေ
actually
သွားလောက်ပြီ
taking out very slowly here.
သေသွားလောက်ပြီ level 3 effect
He'll
အော်
live.
I had
သေ
to
ဦး
use the
อ่ะ
BKB Lotus and I think also feed him a
ဓာ
lot.
တို level 3
Surely
effect
that's
physical
enough
damage
for
ဒီ
us
ကောင်
to be Spirits.
But this is
Chào
also where
Hoa
some teams can learn something from Team Spirit, right? You get scouted out by the Treant, and you don't take the chance to just keep hitting Roshan. No, they back off. Not Me was waiting in that area for so long. In the meantime, his team smokes around and they find a kill. They always go for like the 100% chance play that you don't have any counterplay yourself. So even though Yandex have the lead, dropping the first Aegis here into Yotoro's hands.
And still the lead remains on Yandex's side. And when it gets to the late game, you favor Spirit's lineup?
I would say so. I mean, Dota is definitely more about like it bounces back and forth when it comes to overall item timings. Like when Watson later on gets a potential silver edge, where you get a break against the Tide, it could be quite good. Looks like for now at least he wants to go full out damage because Nature's Prophet scaling is not bad. It's the same with like Centaur and also Ember, but I think the next like 10 to 15 minutes should be kind of Spirit's way.
He still has
ဒီဘက် Western ကောင်နဲ့ဖက်နေရ
Yeah,
ဟော
kind of goes to show you that
ကျန်တဲ့
he's
ကောင်
not
တွေက
really
အားလုံး
pressured all that much.
Yeah, the one
အရန်မကွာ
time we
ဘူး
saw him get ganked,
ပြမြ
it
တ
was
တ်တာ
just a ravage into
Western ကတော့3000လောက်ကိုကျွန်ထွက်
Yeah, just a full stun lock.
အကောင်နဲ့ကျွန်တယ်ဟော
Let's see
Nature
how much
Prophet
Toro
ဆိုတော့
can
လေ
get
ကျွန်
out
တော့
of this
ကျွန်
Aegis. As Collapse looking towards a Shiva's guard. Kira
ဟိ
silence.
အာမထီပါ
Able to dodge some spells though. Dodge a lot.
တောင်းနေ
Both the
ရှောင်
boomerang
ချက်
and
တ
the
ည်းက
sharpshooter. Remnants to the north. Now the leash applied to both heroes because of the Lotus, it seems. Into the Stampede though for DM. Arrow hits the Tide as Yatoro gonna try to chase DM.
မိသွားပြီ
Spotted
မိသွား
though,
ပြီ
nice dust coming out from Not Me. And DM likely to not get out here. Cancellation of the TP, so another big kill for Spirit.
Yeah, good job by Yatoro just getting the markup for the little mini stun onto DM.
Eat your fish, come on. Collapse.
Eat
Your
your fish.
fish.
ငါမစားဘူးလား
He's not interested.
Need to buff those so they actually care. It's just like the old Nature's Prophet, faster with the gold. They wouldn't even pick it
I
up.
feel like it should just like come flying to you as they are
Yeah,
chasing.
the
Ah,
roll
T-Wag,
is successful
T-Wag.
into the kick out. And Watson's gonna have to BKB.
ဘာမှမဟုတ် BKB force တာဟေး Western BKB ကြီးလိုက်ရ
Good.
It's still
Spirit forcing a lot of BKB uses.
it's kind of a weird game because you have Spirit that are getting all of the kills going, but when you look at the net worth lead, it's like either staying even or Yandex are even like pushing it a little bit, up there, as Watson is continuing to just have crazy net worth in this game.
I mean, at what point if you get 7 slotted on Nature's Prophet, it feels like you drop off at a certain point. Is that still the case?
You kind of do, but it's more about like finding the right engagements. I still feel that Yandex can look for plays maybe a little bit more. Perhaps they're like, it's always hard to tell like when we're observing because we see everything. There's definitely a chance where Spirit continuously have like right people at the right time and in the right place where Collapse is like blocking all these moves, but DM has had a Blink Dagger for a long time, and we've never really seen any connection of like a good searing chains into an arrow or like a hoof stomp with a Moonlight Shadow.
ဒီဘက် Amber က
So
လှုပ်
they
လို့
are
လုံးဝ
quite
မရ
passive
ဘူးဖြစ်နေ
at the
အကွာ
moment.
နေလည်းမသိ
But might just potentially have a read to wait out the
Which
ages
Tauta
and
ကြီး
get
ကြောင့်များ
close to this data list here for
စဉ်း
Watson.
စားနေပုံမှန်ဆို Amber ပွဲတွေက
Waiting for Chira to get
ပုံ
truly
ရင်းဖြစ်နေရ
online.
အဲ့ Fire Remnant နေပြင်မှာ 1-2 combo တွေနဲ့အဲ့လိုနာနေရမှာအဓိကအဲ့ Wish Outer supporter ရွေးလိုက်တာလေအဲ့ idea ကြောင့်ဖြစ်မယ်ကွာသိလား Tspirit ကအဲ့လိုပုတ် damage တွေဒါပေးလို့မရဘူးကွာ
Toro will be able to claim this.
Amber
tier 2
ရွှေ့လာ
tower.
လောက်သွားလိုက်ပြန်ဆုတ်သွားလိုက်သိမလားရွှေ့လာလောက်သွားလိုက်အဲ့
Is
ကွက်
this
တွေကို
enough with this Aegis? You
healing
think?
နဲ့ထောက်ထားတယ်
Happy about this?
They can still look like if Yandex go
အလဲပတ်တဲ့ဒီ early ပိုင်းအလဲမှာချတော့ဆိုအဲ့ Wish Outer တော်တော်တိတာ
Spirit look to take a
မွေးရ
fight
လေး
into
လိုက်
them.
ထွန်းပြီးတော့
Also, now that they've cleared up the first tier 2 tower, it
Oh,
means
big
that
up.
they can flip the map,
Idea
kind of
တွေ
go
မိုက်တယ်
over to the enemy outpost, take that over, and
Amber
start
အဲ့ဒါ
building a
ကြောင့်
little
ဒီ
bit
ပွဲ
more
မှာ
of
အ
a
ရန်
map
ကြီးသိမလား
advantage.
ဟိုဆောင်းဆရာကြီးဖြစ်မနေတာ
If
ကွာ
you're Spirit, you should be thinking about a gem relatively soon. First of all, you're playing against Verana, and Yandex aren't really looking to fight you all that much.
ပြန်တော့တိုက်တီးနေသေးတယ် Amber
Chira rather.
မထွက်ပြေးနေရ
Out of the Chicken Man's arms.
This is also like a very important aspect of these elusive idiot heroes, as I would like to call. You can't just because you can kill an Ember, you cannot allow him to just walk down the top lane. So I like that Yatoro is staying there, kind of keeping a very strong foothold on the top lane and where it's pushed into.
Well, Aegis is expiring in 30 seconds, so Spirit gonna try to claim one more tower before that comes to be. Fortification comes out though. And that's not one that's gonna refresh, because they've already killed off a tier 2.
ရန်တဲ့အပိုင်ဆိုပြီးခုကြညီးပြီ
Maybe
ဟာရန်တဲ့အပိုင်လို့ဘယ်သူပြောလိုက်တာ
seems like he changed his program.
Ooh.
He's gonna pop his
Ooh,
flesh golem.
yeah, that
though,
bino,
taking
blue
a
girl,
full
eh.
duration. Okay,
Yeah.
wraps himself into the tombstone.
Tspirit
Gonna try to wait
ဝင်တာ
out.
ထည့်ထားတဲ့လူ
He's
ရန်
fine.
တဲ့
This
အပိုင်ဆိုပြီး
Maledict,
တော့
yeah,
အဲ့
he's
လေ
perfectly fine.
4v1.
Division over ထည့်ထားတယ် game 1 Division over ဖို့တော့လိုတယ်
Back out, and that's a delicious treat for you.
Division over ဖို့တော့လိုတယ်
Yeah, it's quite a bit of gold, but of course Malady will be straight back up, as there is the gem for Not Me.
Now they, despite not having the Aegis, will try to still finish off this tier 2 mid.
And with all
ဒီသက်လေးကြော်ပါမလားတော့
against
ကြည့်ရမှာပဲ
Collapses,
bro
Tidehunter early on, and even though he is bottom of the
ဒီ
network,
သက်လေးကြော်ပါမလားတော့ကိုလည်း
you can't tell how
45
Yandex are
ထည့်
playing
တာ
that this Tide is
over
having very big impact. Saxo trying to get out scot-free here.
Close.
Ooh.
Good attempt from Laurel.
Well, they're just happily scaling up. You've got a bunch of greedy enchantments, I'm pretty sure, here on the Yandex side. You know, you have Saxa who's going for the Aghanim Scepter. You have Ember with greedy enchantment.
Yeah,
So that surely will help you a little bit when it comes to the gold lead.
အခုကောင်လေးဝါလောလောဆယ်မတ်မှာတစ်ခုပဲရှိတယ်ကွာတစ်ခုနှစ်ခုကအပေါ်မှာတစ်ခုလယ်နားမှာတစ်ခုဒါပဲရှိတယ်
Collapse doesn't have it. He wants to play like
ကျန်တာကုန်မှောင်
very
နေတာ
honest,
ပေါ့
get some health, some HP regen.
If this enchantment didn't exist, how many different heroes do you think we would see? Like, how much is it predicating what people are picking?
It definitely has quite a
ဒီ
big
လက်
impact.
ဆော်ရအောင်
I think
ဟို
we
ဝက်ဆန်က
see
လည်း
at
ပြစ်
least
ခွင့်မရ
almost
သေး
like
လို့
there
ဒီ
was
ကောင်
a
အိုက်တန်
match
က
where
လည်း
that's
တကယ်ကများတော့
Do
များ
you
တယ်
think it would be a
အ
drastic
ပြည့်ပဲ
meta shift?
ဘတ်တကယ်မဆိုင်ရသေးဘူးဖြစ်နေတာ Yandex က
You
တိုင်းရ
will
တာ
see it
ကြီးကိုကြောက်
because
ပြီးတော့
let's say you're playing Mirana in this game and you don't have a greedy enchantment. I don't even think he would have queued up an Aghanim
ကဲ
Scepter.
ဗတ်ဆိုင်တော့မယ်
Or if he did, he would have
ဝါ
had
ချီမှာ
to
ဟ
at
တ်
this
ပါလာ
point.
ပြီ
Same with like heroes like Centaur.
တခြား profile
It's
မှာ
crazy
ဒဲ
good
တက်လဲ
to
ဒီကောင်
play
လေး
this
အိုက်တန်
game
တိုင်းဝင်
with
ရတော့
Centaurs.
များတယ်
Centaur said you can go greedy enchantment as a Yatoro.
အို
Wants to
း
go in
amplifying
this and check out what's happening in the
amplifying
neighborhood.
damage ကြီးဗျာ
Shiro was
ပါသွားပြီ
spotted taking that damage rune.
God, he is so strong on this Kez right now. 4-0 and 3 Yatoro with a very, very good itemization also. You know, the Deso, the Mage Slayer, nothing too crazy. Aghanim Scepter, BKB, and now the Crystallis. If you let this guy get a couple clicks on you, you are absolutely going to be shredded.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this inevitable anime-style battle.
It's happening.
You have to explain how that works, because you know I don't watch anime, but get that reference as much as anything.
Sure.
လေကင်းကစပစ်တာမယ်ထင်တယ်နော်လေကင်းက
Coming up forever, which is Watson to then go up against the villain, which is Yatoro, I guess.
Oh, Yatoro's the villain in this case. I see.
I mean, I think so.
Tspirit.
Like, even though they're behind, I give them the slight
calm
strength when it
lah,
comes
no?
to like overall fighting. But I am still happy to see what Watson is cooking up, you know, with the Daedalus as hold
တ
that.
ခုကြောက်ဖို့ကောင်းတာအဲ့ nature profile က
Optics is applied to him.
ဘတ်တယ်ကိုနှစ်ခေါက်ဆိုင်လို့ရတယ်တကယ်အရေးကြီးတဲ့ပွဲတွေမှာ
And is out. Very close. Is going for the
ဟို
shard now. Has
ဘိုင်ဘတ်ပြီး
the
ချက်ချင်း
hardest
ပြန်ကြ
harass.
လာလို့ရတဲ့အကွက်
So
ရှိ
that
တယ်ကွာ
regen
အဲ့ဟာ
for him.
Yeah.
But
Ah,
that
yeah.
TP means that Spirit can take,
တကယ်ကိုယုံကြည်ဆန်ခဲ့ပွဲတွေမှာအဲ့ဟာတာ
and it's going to go between Laurel and Rue.
Okay.
And Rue will be the recipient.
That's
So
pretty nice, right? You get to like dodge some stuff, you can go into your depth. And again, it's
ဝိ
different
ရှောက်
ways
တာ
to
ပြီး
keep
သွား
your
ပြီ
depth
ဖူ
or
ဒူး
going
ဟွာ
to
လေးပါ
stay
ဖြစ်သွား
alive
ပြီ
in
အ
the
မ်ဘာ
fight.
ကတတ်လို့မရတော့ဘူးသူ
And any type of way
ဝေး
you
တိုင်းလေး
stay
နဲ့
alive longer in the fight that you
တိုင်း
get
လေး
off
ပြောင်း
and
မယ်
around
ဘာ
the
ညာ
spells is quite good for you.
အမ်ဘာလူရမ်းမတက်ရတော့သူ့အိုက်တန်ဒစ်ကာယာရဲ့ BKB ရဲ့ first set ဒါလေးပဲရှိ
for Chira.
They need a stomp into
အေး
Arrow.
BKB ရှီဝါကအရင်ဖွင့်တယ် BKB ကိုအရင်မနှိပ်ဘူးသွား တော့ပြီလား
As Yatoro, very scary.
Yatoro
Nice
သေးပြီ
grab ally, though, as Yatoro can't go for anybody. Gets a raptor dance
တော့
on
ပြီလေ
just creeps, and despite being in the BKB, dies regardless.
အိုက်ကွက်တွေ
2 kills for
အိုက်ကွက်
Spirit.
တွေဘာကြီးတော့စပရက်တိုင်းရတာလည်းအနားမှာမရှိရပါတယ်
Will use that newly picked up shard, but gets blown up afterwards by Soxa and his Aghanim Scepter with a double kill.
ချက်ကလေးကအဲ့လိုဝင်ခုတ်လို့မရဘူးလေအန်တိုင်းရင်ဟိုကောင်တိုင်ထဲမှာပုံးမှာဗော
That is
လို့
the power of the tombstone.
They were holding back.
ရာတို
but
လို
they
မားတယ်
just
ရာတိုလိုမားတယ်
no
ဝင်မ
good
ခုတ်တင်
move.
သူတို့ aspect ကြီးမျက်စိရှေ့မှာရှောသွားတဲ့ဟာကိုဝင်ခုတ်တာအရမ်းမားတယ်ဘာလို့တိုက်ရတာအပေါ်မှာအဲ့ချိန်မှာ
Into
လော
the
တယ်
arrow overall to go for the
လုံးဝ
collection.
ဝင်မခုတ်တင်ဘူးကြည့်ရော
Yatoro thought he could do a lot
3ယောက်5ယောက်
He
ကွာ
was able to
လုံးဝ
stand
မ
his
ခုတ်
ground.
တင်
He
တာ
has nothing for this route. They're all just dodging the raptor stance.
That's why I didn't mention it. I was a little surprised he didn't go for Battle Fear.
အဲ့မှာ
I feel
ရေးစ
like it's
ကြည့်
just
ပြီ
naturally, it's just something to
Tspirit
get
က
out of Sprout all game long.
ဟိုကောင်လေးအိုက်တန်နေနဲ့
Try for
ပ
the
တယ်လာ
grapple,
ချရ
he
ချိန်မှာ
played
ရေး
like
စ
some
ကြည့်
4 steps overall. It's just that Battle Fury doesn't feel very good. I mean, this is
ရာတိုလို bad
a very,
decision
very
bad
bad decision for
decision
Yatoro. I'm sure he knows that one.
And Yandex kind of separating now. 7, make it 8K lead. Ruin not me on the low ground. Their triangle was invaded successfully though from DM. Although collapse.
ကတ်အပြာပါလဲဆိုဟိုတပည့်တွေအကုန်သုံးလို့ရ
Immediately crack
သုံးတက်လို့ရှိရင်အကုန်သုံးလို့ရပါ
the damage a little bit too greedy for DM
swift
here.
swift ပြီးသုံးလို့ရရော
Okay,
Who don't
finding
link
a lot of
my
position,
fiddle?
and it is around the second Roche at the moment, so this is 1 minute
Yeah,
without
found
DM
a
being on the board. Need to see how Yandex can go about this in like macro-wise. Can you push in all the lanes? Can you keep poking them? Because you have a
ဒီ
7
ပုံစံ
kill
တိုင်းဆိုရင်
lead
တော့
at this point,
duration က
if you can
over
just
လောက်တယ်
squeeze out and
Second
delay a
Roshan
little
ဦး
bit,
ထွက်
wait
နေ
for
ပြီ
DM
second
to
Roshan
spawn,
မှာ
then
အ
take
ရ
a
န်
Roche fight.
အဲ့ဒါမပြတ်သွားရင်ပေါ့
It seems like Yatoro is making
Who
a
allowed
little
it
potential
now?
call
These are
there.
minutes.
Maybe he wants to finish up this Daedalus
ဒီ
before
က
the
5
fight
မိနစ်
breaks out.
5ဘက်တွေခြံထားရင်တော့မစိုးဘူး ဒီ AJ က split ရမယ်ဆိုလဲမ
30
ဆို
seconds away for DM.
T2 နှစ်တိုင်ကြံသေးတယ် split က
What can they do in the
ဥပမာကလည်း
pit?
T1 ရော
They're
T2
gonna
ရော
attempt to
အောက်လန်း
see it.
ကြံနေသေးတယ်
Really
ဆိုတော့
far away. The belch comes out though, so they're now aware.
တခါလေးပွဲအံ့ဖို့ကမလွယ်တော့
They should
လာ
be
မှာ
like
ကွာ
shadowing
4 5ရောက်ဒီလာမှာ
towards that pit.
Arrow
For a little bit of vision.
ပြစ်လိုက်ပြီ
They still have HP.
Yeah, only the Star Storm hits from that Aghanim Scepter. Put a remnant down in as Laurel trying to create some space here. Looks like they're fully committing.
ဝင်လာပြီ
Goes
ဝင်လာ
to
ပြီ
the hit is Chira Jr.
အော် AJ snatch သွားပြီရောက်ရေး collapse ဆို collapse ဆိုအကွက်ပြန်ပြသွားတယ်
Does get out with his life. So a little bit of Collapse's medicine being force fed to Spirit. Soxa TP's out, so
သူတို့ကွက်နဲ့သူတို့ပြန်ခံလိုက်ရပြီ
move from Yandex.
Yeah, just a little reverse Uno. Suck on that collapse.
So it looks like the Roche banner was claimed from Yatoro.
Can help them, of course, a little bit
Where are
later.
the items spawning? Is it always the same?
I feel like Aegis
I feel like Aegis is always in the same spot, and then the rest are kind of random.
Yeah, I think that the banner is usually like a little bit more higher, whereas the Aegis spawns a little like down below. I mean, it's just good poking overall, and then they get in here. CJ, quick on his fingers.
အနိုင်ရတယ်တခါကြီးနဲ့
I
ဝင်
think
လာ
if
နော်
this were to be replayed, Collapse is like, I'm just going to take it
Yeah.
because I click faster than every human being on the
I will wait for
planet Earth.
Roche to die and then blink in.
That's right.
I like Watson's strength also overall. I think like
အလိုင်းနဲ့ Watson ဟောမတော်ဘူးလား
absolutely stand his
Saber
ground.
Edge
And then the last item
Line
will
ရ
be,
ဘာလို့
you
မ
know,
လဲ
swapping out the treads for the Satanic.
Saber Edge နဲ့ဆိုတိုက်ရင်တော့ဒီကောင်
One
နဲ့ခွဲ
item
လို့ရ
advantage here into your
So
Kez.
he didn't go for Silver Edge, which is a bit curious.
I guess you
Maybe
don't.
Collapse is not somebody they care too much about at the moment.
Yeah, honestly, not really. I think at this point, perhaps it's just more important for him to have ultimate 1v1 power, as you referenced the anime battle, of course.
Thank you.
Some Itachi versus Sasuke type situation, which I'm
Yep.
sure you fully understand.
Absolutely.
Or Son Goku versus Frieza.
Go anime.
Or Majin Buu.
Yay. Yay.
Hey, people here like anime. I like anime. And we've got a lot of
Yeah,
viewers watching.
spotted. Looks like another unfortunate death for him. He's going to reflect the dead in the water, but won't be able to go anywhere.
Nice reflection on the grapple. Still will take a tumble.
So 70 seconds. Of course, like we said, Chira Jr. is the one with the Aegis, so there's no real rush from Yandex either.
ဒီယာဂျူနီယာကောင်းတယ်အဲ့ကောင်
Quite aggressive, right? He's got Shard, he's got the Aghanim Scepter as well.
Load
Now
it,
an
load
Arcane
it.
Rune. So it's definitely one of the timings here for Mr. CJ to start amping up the pace.
These Maranas with Aghanim Scepters, this item's kind of weird, but it really does pay off if you get to 25.
second
They are
agent
scaling
ရ
very
ထား
well,
ပြီး
and
တော့
I
တတ်မရ
love
သေး
that. I
ဘူး
don't
ဆို
know
တော့
which patch it was.
ဒီပွဲက
but you
သေး
used
တာ
to
ဝါ
have
ပြီ
to choose between
45
Soul
minute
Storm
over
damage and multi-arrow.
Confirm.
As,
45
maybe
minute
we
over
curse him.
confirm ပဲ
Yeah, of course.
One more leap to boot.
Nah, he's dead.
easy money ဖြစ်သွားပြီ
Doesn't want to use it though, just gonna chill. But yeah, like nowadays on Marana, you have a good level 20 talent and a good level 25 talent to go with the Aghanim Scepter, which honestly gives, you know, quite a big buff to being able to buy this axe. And what people underestimate too, Yamula in Shadow level 15, it gives evasion. So, you know, some random hits here or there from your Toro, they might miss.
I mean, I'm sure he spotted this butterfly for Watson, so is he going to have to go? Yes, he is already going MKB.
Yeah, he definitely did spot it. You can tell in his quick buy.
So Aghanim Scepter likely to be consumed, or it can just swap out the treads for the time being. He still has room to grow, which is a bit scary.
He does, but even with what we've been seeing, Yandex have done a good job at, like, you know, reflecting kind of what's going on the map, getting the Aegis into their own hands. Because we saw in the last fight, if Watson
ခုမဲ့
gets
တော်
to,
များတော်ဆန်
you
စော
know,
ပေါက်
hit
တွေကြီးပဲ
onto this Kez,
အာတော်ဆန်ကမြင့်မှာ
definitely in a lot of trouble.
အားလုံးရဲ့
This has been such a close game, I have
ရှေ့
to
ဆောင်လ
say.
မ်းပြပဲလေ
As Eon Disc now picked up for Malady.
မစ်ကို
So
မစ်
another
လို့စော
save
ပြတဲ့
along
ကောင်ဒီကောင်ပဲ
with- I mean,
You
even
can't
he
kid
gets
on.
jumped now. Eon Disc procs and
မ
he
စ်ကို
can
မစ်လို့
tips
စော
on
ပြ
either
ရဲဆိုတော့
self
စ
or
ပစ်
the
မ
ally.
ယူပဲနဲ့တပွဲလုံးနှောက်နေတာ
That's
ပြော
the other annoying
ခုနောက်
thing
ပိုင်း
when
မစ်တွေကအဲ့လို
players
မျိုး
are
ကြီး
dying. Like, sure, you
Like Soja.
can kill the tomb, but it's kind of Kez is the only one, and you don't want to use that time, especially when you're already kind of losing the one-to-one carry matchup at the moment.
အဲ
Collapse was being
အဲ
pursued.
အဲ့လိုကြီးအဲ့လိုကြီး
Chira
အေဂျင့်နဲ့မို့လို့
Jr.
အေဂျင့်နဲ့မို့လို့အတင်းနေလိုက်
Avoided from Collapse. Finally, a searing
အဲ့လောက်ကြီး
change
လိုက်ရင်ကြတော့
locks him in place, but he's a tanky boy.
ပြန်တီးခံရမှာနော်
As there's the official
What's
pickup
that?
now for the Satanic on
6 ကွက်
Watson.
ပြေသွား
Fully
ပါ
six
ပြီ
slotted
တဲ့
now.
Okay, right now,
စိတ်တန်းနဲ့တည်းပါလာပြီ6ကွက်အပြည့် level 25
you can ask for on
ကြာကြီးဖြစ်
this
သွားပြီကွာ
profile. Like if Watson gets to go in these fights in a way that he likes to, where he doesn't get gone on first and he just gets to TP on the backside or after they've like chained or stunned someone up, he is crazy strong. He's also got the triple HP and triple damage talent for the Treant, so a little bit more of a
But he's
map
not going to
play.
be growing much more than this. Like, even if you get Moonshard or Ags, it's
not that much. Of course, you still can, right? Like you said, you can do the Moonshard, you can eat the Aghanim Scepter, he can buy the shard. You can also like do some swapping in and out of like BKBs, buying a refresher later for like double ult. But it is one of the strongest timings, so you want to try and make something happen. You don't want to force it, but you want to be aware of it to try and use it.
It's more like an incremental increase from here on out, as opposed to this big power spike that he's getting with the 6th item.
Watson level 3 can I have you had tower a little one of a load on it in any county. Really total your two chain down Juama. Oh, Maga Cree loop penny. The only level 3 account area. Talent
Going to be waiting for one would assume.
I own now some of
onto collapse, which of course is a good counterplay, right into the
on
stomp
the high ground.
Yeah, all that thing are oh, they're going to leave it in a chine and the sprout here easy for you.
Making Laurel roll away.
Yeah, what up, yeah.
Zombies will chase collapse. So vision battle, I suppose, goes to the Yandex.
I just said it. What do you know? The game might.
Like this Wind Waker. Like when you play against a draft, and usually the mid to late game will boil down to there are
now when you do wrong, I high ten tail out. Behind the fury you want.
Into arrow into what?
Sprout got it all time, but now by
absolutely put a stop to it. But now
they're gonna level 2 up. Cool down for a second. I can't call Wabi low.
I don't really know who.
Sprout low can I am. Can't talk about it.
Be at least.
They're gonna let the cool or tame my
You can like counterplay the
and then mobility. Yeah. The car,
seems like that maybe Malady.
I was going to say Malady. It's not really an undying thing, but it's a Malady thing.
And he's got Blink Dagger. Blink Nullifier is a great item combo.
Yeah.
Of course, it will take quite a while.
Yeah, media by media.
You know that they're talking about the correct things.
He's got the great enchantment.
Of course. Yeah.
Really, it helps them. I didn't
yes,
know that.
media.
I'm just making sure.
Greed will be his downfall. His collapse gets the anchor. Although,
what's that? Yalla, no, no.
Collapse taking quite a bit of damage. Laurel goes on the BKB. Pop the Shivas as
well.
Collapse just gets deleted, and now Laurel completely surrounded.
I'm not going to lose your low bound. I had done a wish about it.
Sucks at the beginning, but they get 3 kills in.
What's a pillow take an infinity of man? Chira Junior when you open the yellow, you die them.
They just both evaporated.
Started
off, whacking away at the Tidehunter, but then just a follow-up blow from CJ coming in with the Ags. Yep, we'll see it here in a moment. That's collapse. They think they've got the easy one here onto Satsa, and you can see Watson's damage. It is very high. And then here,
nuclear bomb going
off there.
Which out of 3B?
Yandex in good position here, 13k lead.
Die to not a 2 minute ban, 2 minute ban.
2 big core kills, no buybacks for either of them.
Not a 2 minute loud easily Nibiba. Russian Todome, Russian Todome, die Russian Piano.
Threaten on the second Drax unless
2 minute loud can answer.
Play it safe, already look for the next Roshan, which it could be spawning from now. It is a very long spawn.
So, Magatlam, you are Russian, are you? Yeah, allow the over. Lenny,
I definitely need to commend Yandex on how they played this game, because mid-game, like, even to me watching, it looks like quite strange in a way, but I think just understanding and being confident in what heroes can do, I would say, especially Watson, having a very clear view, okay, guys, let me farm, I need these couple of items. Once I have this, we just flip the switch and we go complete aggro mode.
It's a pretty late Roche, so I'm not sure who that favors exactly, but Yandex.
Paprika, they chop it as I am. Machine, Sahana Ravi Quere, Yatolo Code,
Spirit.
Hey, what do you mean?
Always available to steal. I've already been to steal this game, but not for him.
Hello, live you. Hanging it, a Mari Pitam, yeah. Over God, you got a little bit charming. But then I'll charge
quite big.
And a shot.
Like Watson is holding 8k gold. You have a buyback now available on CJ in the next fight if you want to. The card is quite close for DM. You also
Rushan, not that Dominic Quenny, my top man. Only 10 of my show me, we shall
saves with the cart and the tombstone Laurel. on the cliff.
ပြီးသွားပြီ Collas ဒီဘောတင်တာအကြီးနဲ့
keep him safe for the time being.
သေးပြီလား
Valley's just going to chase in that flesh golem form. Laurel
ပိုစတက်အားရောညိတာတော့ဝိဆောက်တာရှော့သွားပြီရာတိုလက် BKB ကြီးပြီးတော့ခုတ်ရမလို့မခုတ်ရမလို့နဲ့အော်ရှော့သွားပြီနှစ်ချက်ပဲပြစ်တယ်
just ripping through him. No buyback as well. 100 seconds on the deck.
အဲ့10မိနစ်ပဲလို့လေဘာကြီးတော့ရာတိုတော့အိုက်တန်အပြည့်နဲ့မခုတ်ကြအောင်ဟိုကောင်3ချက်လောက်ပြစ်လိုက်တာရှော့သွား Oh my god အန်တိုင်းရဲ့ဒါမဲ့ amplify ကြောင့်လဲပါတော့ပါတယ်ဟာသွားပြီဒီခေါ်လာမသိဒီခေါ်ရတယ်ဟောင်ရေးဟော10မိနစ်ပဲလို့လားလေမနောက်နဲ့လေ
quite convincing.
ရာတိုတော့
You know, like the early to mid
Oh my
game,
god.
they're ahead, they're constantly
Ravi ကလည်းနောက်မှလာခွဲတယ်ရာတိုတော့လည်း Ravi ကိုမဆောင်မနဲ့ဝင်ခုတ်ဘာလဲမသိဘူး
just winning every fight back.
အဲ့ပဲတယ်မရှုံးသွားရင် over တယ်လေလို့
I think Yatoro maybe should. I thought he was going to be able to do more in this game, right? He had a very clean game on the camp. He comes in once in their own jungle, just kind of dies for free. That was one of his 2 deaths. And then he dies once again, and the game's just kind of over.
I feel like Spirit never had a fight as a
10မိနစ်လေးနဲ့အသေးခွဲသွားတော့
getting a ravage into Kez just right clicking doing his thing. It was always Yandex pouncing on them instead. And as a result, they took every big fight in Watson. I mean, this
Watson က
completely absurd.
အိုက်တန်6ခွက်ဖန်ပြီးလာပြစ်သွားတာဘာမှလည်းမဟုတ်
That's because Watson's just sitting back right clicking.
ရာတိုဟီရိုကလည်းအိုက်တန်တော့အပြည့်ပဲဒါပေမဲ့မဟုတ်ပါဘူးတော့ခုလို့ခေါ်ပြီးတော့အန်တိုင်းဖန်ရတော့မယ်ထင်တယ်အန်တိုင်းဖန်ရတော့မှာ Tspirit ကအောင်နေတော့ဒါမှမဟုတ်လည်းပြန်သုံး
Apart from the 1 or 2 overplays from CJ and where Malady just
44ဆိုရလား44ဆိုရတယ်
I think apart from that it was very good.
44 over တွေရတယ်45မရ
Nature's Prophet carry has looked insane. Same with the centaur offlane. I don't know
ဘလူတော်ကိုအသေးခွဲသွားလဲဆိုကြည်စမ်း
He ends 2 and 4 on center, but he did his job.
တောင်းတင်သွားပြီ
He was
နော်
extremely farm. So what else can you ask for as a
တောင်းတင်သွားပြီနော်
centaur on your team? And this was the first big play of the game where the Wisdom Shrine was being contested by Malady. He sat there, basically sacrificed his life just to make time for the rest of his team to show up. And this is where they end up stealing the second Wisdom Shrine to get the ultra kill.
10မိနစ်တောင်မဟုတ်စက္ကန့်40ပဲအဲ့နောက်ဆုံးပတ်တယ်ကြီးက
Beginning of the snowball.
လုံးဝမဖြစ်သေးဘူး
I mean, for most of the game, Yandex was
ဟိုကောင်ကရိုရှန်မထွက်တော့
like a gigantic lead.
ရိုရှန်ယူဖို့တုံးလိုက်တဲ့စမုတ်ကဗတဲ့ချဖို့ဖြစ်သွားတယ်ပြီးတော့တခါတည်းအံ့
the
သွား
early stages of the game.
Yeah, and then I just think overall when you look at Spirit, they're the ones that find good fights, but from the mid game onwards, also with this very nice Aegis.
အန်တိုင်းဖန်ဟွာရှုပ်တယ်အောင်နောက်
overall.
ပြုံအမတကောင်နဲ့တကောင်အဓိကတော့ collapse ကိုသွားကဲရင်းနဲ့အမညင်းနဲ့အမချိုင်းနဲ့အမစောက်တလွဲဖြစ် collapse ပြန်ဝင်လာပြီးတော့လဲဗတဲ့မောက်သွား
Initiation to the fight, but this time around, it's all Yandex.
Yeah, let's go to Shiver to wrap up game number 1.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yeah, this was a quiet game from Spirit. Credit goes to Yandex for being able to pressure Spirit at the exact right places to make sure that Spirit never really felt the time trying to come together to make those moves that we expect from them.
drawing ကြတယ်3ကောင်ပန်းပြီးတော့ဒီကောင်တွေက cut ယူလိုက်တယ်ဟိုဘက်ကနေကြ prophet ယူသွားအဲ့ဒီနေကြ prophet first pick ယူသွားအောင်နော်
I feel like we saw more of the Tundra side of things in this one. Like Game and Gladiators is more about grouping up early and punishing you with that lead, but instead they got that early lead. Felt like Team Spirit were getting all the kills, and yet the net worth was not moving. And then the second they get the kill on Laurel on Earth Spirit, and then Yatoro tries to come in and salvage the situation, gets sprouted for 5 seconds.
မနေစရာလေးပါဗျာရင်ခံပြီ45ရင်ခံပြီဟဲ့44သမားရတော့ရဒီထဲမှာအလုံးလိုက်ကြီးဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီ45တွေကလုတ်ရက်တယ်ကောအပိုင်တွက်ထားတာလို့ ဟ Game 2 ပါကြိုက်တယ်တဲ့ Game 2 Spirit ဒီပွဲက match over မယ်လို့တွက်ထား Game 2 Spirit ကိုအားပေးရမယ် Spirit ကို 46 over ကို 2.6 အခုတော့10 minute နဲ့ခံသွားဆိုတော့ duration မဖတ်ရင်တော့ကောင်းမလားမသိ10 minute နဲ့ခံလိုက်ရသိအဆင်မပြေ
Yeah, I mean, I think to me the adjustment, like the Team Spirit last game, they opened with the large hero.
They have profile ban. And I am a ban.
To be fair, maybe they didn't, but
and I am
you know, like mid heroes. So
they have profile.
They have insider information. I don't know if that was the case or not. Either way, if it was not a flex and if it was like just straight up Lord or Spirit mid, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of that approach for Spirit. I think when you play versus, like, the more teams are going to face Yandex, you can't just give him a free game or a really good matchup, whether it's his 1v1 mid or enemy supports, and he's picking up the runes and he's creating pressure and opening up the map. Like, again, I'm comparing it to Quinn because people are very familiar with Quinn's playstyle. He's dominated the scene for a couple years, couple seasons with Gaming Gladiator, and it was all about enabling his side laners, enabling DOTA2, enabling Ace. It's pretty much the same here, and I think either you pick something like that you trust the lane, because I don't think Snap has bad matchups, or you need to protect Lars a little bit more in the draft.
I agree with everything you said, and we talked about picking your poison. I thought it was interesting when I looked through all the drafts for Yandex throughout the group stage so far, and yes, they've been routinely beating Lone Druid, but everybody that they've been playing against, when left in the pool, first picked Lone Druid. Yeah. Nobody's actually experimented with just not banning it and not picking it. I thought they might take this approach because at the end of the day, the Yandex has proven almost unbeatable at the strats that they have presented thus far. So maybe, hero that's been routinely banned, there's perhaps like context that they have that we don't know about. But the fact that Lone Druid's still in the pool and it still wasn't taken by Yandex, I think they just don't particularly respect this hero in terms of like they think it's been solved. And at the end of the day, Team Spirit elects to ban it. I think the Alacrity Bear would have been absolutely terrifying, but we saw this happen at Dream League, which was the first tier 1 event that Snapfire became meta, where she was used as a Huskar, pseudo Huskar, in terms of dominating the melee heroes, and then people were picking like Invoker, Tinker, Zeus, like backline spellcasters that trade about evenly with Snapfire, and then later on in the game outscale her. So you mentioned the flex potential that you wish they had in game 1 with the Earth Spirit on the side of Team Spirit. I'm hoping that they're worth considering the Snapfire being flexed to something else and not just slamming it for Laurel here.
Yeah, no, it's very much a possibility. I do think that in this matchup against Invoker, like, Snap will have the upper hand anyway. It's just it turns at a certain point. I think once Invoker starts getting levels, maybe level 7, level 8, this is when the Snap is not really as free. Like, you have to save cookie, because like the way Snap dominate lane is by being able to spam both spells. It's like you cookie on top of the
Thank
you. I was gonna say little shredder, but and then it's just an overwhelming creep waves. Like, you're just basically I think it's pretty scary, because if your cookie's on cooldown, all of a sudden cold snap goes like the wall. Any support that comes in, Snap's just gonna die. So I like this adaptation, like this answer, I mean, from Yandex against Snap. I think it's gonna make Lar second guess, how aggressive he wants to play, because this is a hero that can punish Snapfire very easily with a little bit help from Saxa or Melody.
Yeah, I think it's Yandex's approach to drafting is so interesting, because I think most of the time this would be a Snapfire mid for Laurel, and just like last game we saw the Earth Spear come out and they last round banned mid laners instead, saying like, if you leave Earth Spear mid, we have no problem with this. I think they're kind of making the same statement by banning Puck and saying, if you leave Snapfire mid, we're perfectly happy with that. This is the one mid laner we think outscales Invoker, we're going to remove it.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also maybe related to the supports that they want to pick, because usually Puck, you care about Puck only if it's the freest Puck game. I think especially now where the hero has like a pretty bad win rate, it hasn't really looked very strong unless it's just so good that it's completely uncontested. That they go back for the centaur, trademark, and it's their way of he wants. I mean, last game, to be fair, we talked about how it was being very last pick. And they ended up picking for Saxa and decided, because what's but he could have also selected his hero ultimate last pick, and this is what for that team. like him and like Sax has been really known, right, with 33.
ဒီပွဲကို carry let's pick ဖို့များမယ်ထင်တယ် Tspirit က
how to play by heart and they will play it
ဒါ
versus
တို့
anything. They just
နောက်ဆုံးရုံးလို့ရတဲ့
Like,
hero
we don't care what they're
ဖြစ်ဖို့
facing,
လိုတယ်
and it's always stable.
ထင်တဲ့အတိုင်းပဲ
They
ပန်း
were
ကို
able
လေး
to
ရပါတော့
replicate that here in this
ထင်တဲ့အတိုင်းပဲ
team.
call တွေအရင်
Or
ပြ
like
နေ
they
ပြီ
have
ကွာ
their
Snapfire အဲ့ဆိုရင်
they have Centaur
position
Nana,
4 လောက်သွား
and
ကြ
it's
မ
like,
လား
we don't care what we face. We just blindly pick it.
ရာတူတို့
We're
နောက်ဆုံး
stable. We
ပစ်
either
လိုက်
win
တော့
the lane or
အဲ့ဒါမှ
trade
ရ
even.
မယ်ဟိုကောင်က
That
ရုံး
leaves
ပေးမဲ့
so
ကောင်
much space for Watson for just coming up with these gotcha pick that are coming much later in the draft.
ဖိစလက် white တို့ပါအဲ့လေမကောင်းပါ
Pangolier
အင်ဘိုကောင်တော့
yesterday
နိုင်တယ်
went
ဆို
to
ပေမဲ့
Collapse, and the day before that
ပန်ကိုလီယာနဲ့
in
တွဲ
the
လို့မ
hands
ကောင်း
of
ဖိစလက် white
mid one on the stream and
ဥဝင်
the hero has looked
ပြန်ယူထားတ
very
ယ်
good and very
okay
impactful and Collapse on it of course yesterday as well, dominating streak at some point too.
And it was against Invoker also. It was against Liquid. They first picked Invoker, and Spirit instantly responded with the Pango. So yeah, they're doing it again. They won that game also. So
And more flex potential coming out again.
it's one of their answer. Yeah, Pango versus Invoker. I mean, it's one way to make sure you get on top of that hero and yeah, lock him down essentially.
Yeah. How is Team Spirit gonna deal with the Centaur? Because we mentioned him a couple times.
ထပ်ပြပါ
I
ရ
feel
မီ
like
အနိုင်
it's a
အမ
little bit of a repeat here
အ
with
ဘန်း
the
နဲ့
coming out as well.
တူးသေးပြီလားမ
With
သိ
the
ဘူး
Centaur already, I mean, we see DM on a previous
Hey,
game,
Melody,
we
and I am
know
a
we've
baby
seen him
on it,
in the
Zuma.
group
Cut
stage
beat it,
with this hero
wow.
as well. It's just incredibly strong. How are you dealing with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because DM's, I think the first one I saw that didn't just always rush hard. He usually stopped back for a Lotus Orb against a lot of the lineups would buy like a Spirit Vessel or have substantial DOTs that can tick damage Centaur out in the like 15 to 20 minute mark. And I'm like thinking about what hero combo in the game deals
He
with
will
the
kill
potential of the
Babang
Lotus Orb
lah.
Centaur, who's like 2000 HP with a bunch of armor and
duration
stampede
over မပတ်တော့
and a
ဘူး kill ပါ
dispel,
ဖတ်မယ်ကွာ
and
kill ပါလဲ
a
90
3,500
က
HP Centaur with a harm. Like what
အောင်
lineup deals
90
with
ကျော်
both of these? I don't actually know. I think Pangolier is a cool solution because just burning his mana does address both of those things. One of the few heroes in the game that buys an early
no?
defusal
Where?
still nowadays. Now we talked
Where
about
kill
Collapse
ba
playing
diya
Pango. I think
They
he's one
want
of
to
the
let him so
generally
kiya
better
90
laners
ကျော်
against Undying. Like you can disengage the
90
tombstone.
ကျော်
You're
တော့ဖြစ်
not
တော့
going
ဖြစ်
to win the lane, I don't think. But oftentimes you can at least get away with, like, get out of the lane decently.
ဖိစလက် white အေးဆော့ဆော့ကိုဘာပြောနေလဲ
Some
ဖိစလက်
PTSD
white
set.
လို့ပြော
I
နေ
don't
ရ
know if
နော်
you knew it was me, but I
ထွက်လာ
picked
ပြီ
Faceless Void against
ထင်တော့
Tuna
ထင်နေတယ်
Prop 2 weeks
ရာတူ
ago.
တို့တကယ်ယုံပြီးနိုင်တဲ့
Dumpster
carry
game,
လက်ထဲ
like,
ထည့်တော့မယ်လို့
Was
You
it
played Beastmaster.
Oh, okay, well that's dirty. So
Huh?
apologies for that.
ထင်တော့ထင်တယ်
It's a very
Snapfire ကြီးလည်း
least favorite
ပစ်ထားတယ်
matchup,
ဆိုတော့
so
အဲတစ်ခုပဲရှိရဒီပန်ကိုလီယာနဲ့ white နဲ့ကတိတ်အရန်တွဲလို့မကောင်း
I think it's not
ကျန်တဲ့ Snapfire တို့ Huwin တို့နဲ့ရော
I think-
တွဲလို့
okay,
ကောင်း
let's
တယ်
put it
နော်
this way. Against some
အဲ့တစ်ခွက်တော့
center
ရှိ
lane, I think when the center lane
အဲ့
has
တစ်ခွက်
the
တော့ရှိတ
potential,
ယ်
let's say I'm thinking Centaur Lion, Centaur Rasta, these
Oh,
kind of
Invoker
lanes are
Lane-
gonna lock the void down and make sure he
ဖ
doesn't
မ်းလို့
get
ရ
this
တာဗော
domination
white
off.
က
It can be very good because Centaur obviously has an overwhelming amount of damage on the lane, especially if he's allowed to go stun and double edge. We've seen it yesterday, like where they would get 2 points in double edge, and that's like 700 damage or something when they double edge into stun into double edge again. I don't think it's the case with techies. I think if Team Spirit is ready and either they have a good ward or the position 5 is keeping track of the suicide, like the blast off possibility from techies, I think Yatoro's just gonna do okay on this lane. He's maybe gonna lose a little bit on last hits just because Centaur is, you know, it's just Dota for dummies. Like the hero has insane base damage, insane HP regen, great attack animation. It's just hard to contest. But I think the Void is gonna get through the game.
Yeah, because it's interesting, like the approach we've seen throughout this tournament. Like even last game, we saw Undying, Nature's Prophet in the safe lane, like very oppressive lanes. The Drows, the SFs, all getting banned out. The Lone Druids, but Faceless Void, I'd say, is about the polar opposite of these in regards to the way that he approaches the lane. It's great against Invoker in game. It pairs very well with Snapfire. You have Hoodwink as well to dish the damage out. You have like a primary initiator that causes chaos that will set up for the Chrono with the Pangolier. Like on paper, the Faceless Void makes a lot of sense. And I was personally surprised a bit that we didn't see it more in this tournament. I think we've only seen it picked one time, but I think there's a reason for this, and it's usually just the laning phase. So that's why, like, I agree with everything you said. I think even if he gets out of the lane, I believe the Centaur is now granted free farm.
Yeah,
Would
I
you
think
agree with that?
It's a very slow hero. Like it doesn't really fit the meta in a sense. But the one upside for Spirit is that they have Snapfire, which I think like Mortimer Kisses and Chrono, you know, obviously very known combo in Dota. It's been abused over the years. I think Snap makes Void not as slow as, because now you don't have to rely on Void getting items. Like every Chrono will be a kill. Like if when they both have their ultimates, Invoker will die, even Centaur will die. So in that sense, I think it's not as greedy as it looks like. If it wasn't a Snapfire, if it was anything else really, then I would be very worried for Spirit, but I think the Snapfire enables the Void pick.
Do you want then the Snapfire to be 5, or are we looking for a new 5? Because, for example, Jakiro and Witch Doctor both also are great with the Chronosphere.
I think it almost has to be mid in a sense, like they really need this
Snapfire mid
and the snap spells. I mean, if
Angolia
it's 5
offlane.
and it has a bad game
Carry
for any
position
reason, then
fight
the
the
lineup
count
is
hit.
so
I
strong.
fight ဘာဖြစ်ဖို့
It's going to be
များလဲ
troublesome. But snap mid, I think no matter what happens to Void in the early game,
ဆိုတော့
I think Chrono
wish
will
out တာ
keep
ပြန်
on
ပင့်မ
board.
လား
So in
ဒါ
that
မှမ
sense,
ဟုတ်
they will be able to stabilize the game a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of carries that can't innately defend their tower with spells,
Bang.
like with wave clear.
bang,
you
bang,
need some
bang.
way to make it so you don't just walk in and kill the tier 1 in like 7 minutes, and that is the Chronosphere kill threat. So I agree with you, Seb, that if this is not a snap mid, then that window is going to be very punishable. They end up going for the Lich. I think they had a lot of options here.
Yeah, this is
Lich,
cool.
Witch
Like,
Doctor.
it's a
Lich,
lot of team fights, like Snap
ooh.
ulti, Lich
Mighty,
ulti,
mighty.
you know, like Chrono
Play
is
damn
going
it,
to be
Twitter.
deadly. Like, you have to watch out and respect it if you're the Yandex. And I don't think the Tombstone save is really... I don't think it works against Chrono. Like, I think the range is not that amazing. It might be a factor if they're on the edge of the Chrono. But essentially, I would say it's a really good Chrono game. It's super enabled by the heroes that have been picked on the Spirit side. Taking a page out of Rune Eater's book, like they have run Lich twice very successfully. I think this hero is quite underrated, if you ask me, but yeah, I'm glad to see Lich. I think it's maybe undervalued this tournament.
Ike absolutely owned it yesterday, and
Rupert.
Malady as a 5, he's been
Rupert.
playing very greedily. Like he's going Blink Dagger and Eon Disc last
Rupert
game,
fight
like not a
yet,
single
I mean.
support item in his inventory. What we see from Lich is just Blink Shard.
Oh,
and
my
he
man.
actually represents solo kill threat on most heroes.
Are you gonna have who we have full
something
dog?
like the Phantom Lancer, a hero that
That's what I saw.
like right now,
yeah.
if they see your
pretty
hero,
good, yeah.
they have so much damage on the side of Team Spirit. They're gonna kill the hero if they see it. So I'm wondering if they go for that chaos. To
Clean.
set the game, which I said in the form
Oh.
of PL being with illusions, I like Clinks because it's a ranged carry that pairs well with the Undying in lane, but it also plays off map. It's not easy to catch them. If you do, sure, but they're gonna. I think they're gonna be
2 လောက်တည်းကွာ fight ကကလင်းတို့ဘာလို့လဲဆိုလို့ရှိရင်ဆော့ကခတ်တယ်နော်
assassin find that one
ဟို
centaur
က
shot.
အဲ့လို
They really have the best
desolator အပြာ
follow-up
ချောင်း
to
okay အကွက်နဲ့က
Watson's pick,
အောင်နောက်တယ်
so I can
Chrono
see what
OB
they're
ခုတ်မယ်
going
ဆိုတဲ့
for.
အနေ
It's
ထား
gonna
မှာ
be
တော့
all about the information.
ဒီကောင်းရဲ့အဲ့ဒီအချိန်မှာအပြာချောင်း
Want, because like you said,
အယုတ်တွေချလိုက်ရင်ထုတ်လို့မရတော့
team fight coming from
အဲ့ဒီအယုတ်တွေပြစ်တာ
Based
နား
on
တယ်
previous game, we thought the drafts were pretty even. Now that we know how previous game went, is this
white အရန်ဖတ်မှရမှာဒါမလွယ်
If
ဘူး
this
လား
was
လို့
anyone
အရန်
else
ဖတ်
in
ဖို့
Team Spirit, I
ဦး
would
စီး
say
ွား
the
ပြီထင်တယ်
drafts are
ဟေး
even, but I think Team Spirit got exactly what they wanted. Like, they have ways to make the game stable. I think they have a lot of cool spells. Unless they really crumble in the laning phase, that would be the one opening, like the one weakness that their draft could have. But again, I don't think they're supposed to. I think they have very solid lanes. If they get their spells and their ultimate ready and they're able to make the game somewhat stable, because Yandex, they have like a very powerful lineup. Like it's gonna come, like the pressure is gonna come very early on Spirit. But they are the best team in the world at weathering the storm, getting to their timings. I don't think we're gonna see them get picked off around the map to some invoker clinks. Like they're very
မင်းတူကဘာလောင်းရမှန်းတော့မသိတော့အေးရတာပဲတီးထားလိုက်ရင်ကောင်းမလားမသိ
wait patiently
Sắp
for
đến show
the
nó mày
Yotoro,
đủ
and
khán giả
eventually
này à?
It's going to be the Yotoro show because I think at this point
Thế sao vậy?
there's a
Online
moment
phim mà là game
in
mà,
this
không
game
phải
where
cả.
it's just going to be a unstoppable faces void.
Cái
I don't know if
lane
you agree with
này.
that, but I feel like if you get 6 slot or
Á chỉ
something, it's just
này.
over. This void is just going to kill everything.
Well, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen here as we are ready for game number 2 and see if the defending champions will continue here at EWC for a game 3 or if Yandex will take this one 2-0. We're heading over to Sunsfan and Kezu.
Thank you, Shiver. As we get into game number 2 here very shortly between Spirit and Yandex. Sunsfan with Kezu. We have a very important question before the game can go live.
Yeah.
How many different hairdos has Yotoro had throughout his career?
He's had quite a few, but let's check into the super search of our Lenovo Legion, of course, which when I type it in here, how many hairstyles Yotoro DOTA2? We're at 7. He's had blue, blonde, brown, bald, red, and silver.
Silver, that's a color.
That is a color here
It's
at
not
EWC.
gray, it's
no,
silver.
it was silver. It's
Okay,
silver.
let's get into the game here.
What's wrong with this guy?
Silver. As game number 1, of course, went to Yandex, and Spirit need to win this to stay alive to force a game number 3. Do you think they will do it with this draft?
Ooh, this is it's a tough one. I do like what Spirit have, and I gotta hope that they will push us to a game 3. First of all, I want to be selfish. I want to see more. We've only seen 2-0s. I don't want to see 2-0s games that we cast.
You're cursed.
And second of all, be quiet. I'm talking.
Okay.
Yatoro faces what? He hasn't played it for 2 months. He's been waiting. He's been practicing with the anime arc, and you only bust this shit out in the last moment. They don't see it coming. You're down 0-1. You get 3 bounty rules. Boom, baby. You pick Faceless Void. You buy a Bad the Fury, which he has queued up right now, and you slap him in the
Fury
head.
တော့မှာ
Okay, well, if they can hang
တော့
on long
Fury နဲ့
enough,
fan
it'll
ပါ
get
နော်
some
Okay
good farm
ချိန်တူနဲ့မ
eventually,
ဟုတ်ဘူးလား
but is there too much pace on Yandex?
အဲ့ဒါကြီးက
Seb brings up a good point. If they
အဲ့
didn't
ဒါကြီး
have
သွား
Chrono
ပြီထင်တယ်
with
နော်
the snap
ကလင်း
fire
ဆိုတဲ့
off with
hero က
Chain Frost,
famine hero မ
this
ဟုတ်
would be
ဘူး
way too slow over here on this meta, it feels like.
Falcon Blade Desolator လောက်နဲ့အကုန်လုံးကိုပတ်သိမ်းလို့ရတယ်နော်အဲ့ဒီချိန်မှာ तू က Fury နဲ့ fan နေမယ်ဆိုရင်အဆင်မပြေဘူးထင်တယ်ဒါကြီးက
You have 2 great supports and most importantly the snap
ဟို
fire.
အောက်မှာ Fab လက်တော့ရပြီအဲ့လောက်ဆို Fab လက်ရပြီ
And he's going to time walk in to try to take out
Oh,
Soxa. The
man,
hook stop
dude.
being faked out. He's going to use it onto the Lich instead. Soxa is fine under the tier 1 tower. So no first blood quite
Yeah,
yet. I mean, that would be shocking if a Void gets a first blood in
But there was
game.
still very good pressure, but he did lose a couple of CS in the tower. I believe at least 2. But yeah, so the other point of Void, it's a very good time dilation game. Especially against Invoker. If you get a couple of levels later, you can also counterplay without the chrono. But one of the many good things that Yandex has for themselves is, first of all, pace. You have Klings who can play very quickly. You have very good Sunstrike setups as well with the Hoof Stomp and also potentially, with the techies. But on top of that, they have insane Roche capabilities. You have Klings and Undying again. And one of the biggest counters to Void, of course, is the Aegis against the Chrono.
ဟုတ်တယ် Roshan နဲ့လွယ်မှာ N9 level စစ်နဲ့ကလင်းနဲ့ဆိုရင် Roshan ဆိုတာခဏလေးပဲပြီးရင် Alacrity နဲ့ဟိုကောင်လေး early pace ကတော်တော်ကျန်းပါ Yandex က
Struggle Bus City.
It is now.
Okay, we'll just go.
Never heard you use it, but you made it. You made
Tspirit ကလုံးဝ risk အကြီးယူလိုက်တာဒီပွဲ
The
က
Snapfire. This is what
Feather
I'm most
White game
interested
ရောက်
in.
သွားရင်တော့ဒီကောင်လေးနိုင်ပြီ
Like, this is not
ပြီးသွားရင်
a
Feather
hero
White
you
item
get to
3
see
ခွက်လောက်နဲ့
too
ပြည့်မှာ
often.
level
How does it go
16
against
17 လောက်
Invoker? How does it go with the
မှာ
game outside of the Chrono
ပွဲက
Strike?
လည်းအရင်ပြတ်မနေခဲ့ဘူးဆိုရင်တော့
You used to win it even harder when
Tspirit
your
ပွဲ
innate
ဖြစ်သွားပြီ
worked on denies.
ဟိုဘက်က
which
စောင်းရမ်း
now it
ဖိမှာ
doesn't. But you still win this lane.
အဲ့
Obviously,
လို
Invoker doesn't
Tspirit
interact with you all that much. Like
game
when
ဖြစ်
you
အောင်
win,
လို့တော့စောင့်မယ်မ
Invoker
ထင်
is
ဘူး
greedy. So Snapfire and Laurel is going to be up to a great start. And also, it was banned actually in game 1 against Spirit. So this time around, they did get their hands on it. And I would expect Laurel to have a very explosive early game.
Yeah, off to a pretty good start. 13-3 CS versus the 10-1 of Chira. You talked about the Sunstrike capabilities, or the setups rather, with the blast off, with the hoof stomp. Is that enough to? I mean, it's not like you have a Chrono into.
Yeah, that would have been pretty nice.
Would have been pretty sick.
And the thing, so they have okay setup, and also like the thing is, this is CJ's absolute best heroes. Like when this guy showed up in pubs, it was Pango, Puck, and his Invoker. So giving this hero up in an elimination game, and when you're down 1 game against them, is definitely a little bit, of a bold statement. But they did find a couple of good answers. Pango, Snap, and Void, I would all consider them to be good core matchups into the Invoker.
Well, nice cookie from Laurel, going to pressure Chira a bit here with that Scatter Blast. And I assume that, I mean, what exactly the build you go for? Because late game we've seen the right-click variation of it, but they do already have a lot of physical damage in the Pango and the Void. Do they really want to triple up on that?
I wouldn't mind if he just goes Magic build. That's also what he is queued up at the moment, which is the most normal. Travels, Blink, Shard, and you go like Kaya Yasha. You can go for a BKB later on. With all the talents you have on Snapfire, it's incredibly strong. And I don't think you need more physical follow-up currently. You also have Pango later. So that should be what Laurel is eyeing up at the moment. Blink is also like so good on this hero.
Yeah, it feels like more of a utility build, technically speaking, but from the mid lane, so you just get it at an accelerated pace.
Collapse able to delete a curve for the time being. Molly again playing the Undying.
He was 1-10 in that game, but he played well.
Absolutely
out of
That's right.
And then
wow.
For Chira.
Yeah, Chira Junior တကယ်ကောင်းနော်
Another. So off to a pretty damn good
First
start.
Yeah, very big sequence for
easy
him.
Game, easy game.
Even while he's walking around to get the water rune, maybe Laurel doesn't have like full vision of CJ, because usually when you play these matchups, you are yelling Sunstrike, in that moment. So because you just see collapse, he's walking straight, one line, nothing's happening. So CJ finding a perfect moment.
So what you're saying is Laurel's fault for not saying it.
He definitely could have made a difference. but maybe he didn't see him, or
maybe he said it and the reaction time wasn't great.
Yeah, maybe it's Collapse's fault. This guy sucks, doesn't he?
Time dilation onto 2 here. You talked about how powerful that spell is this game against the Invoker. Against, I mean, Undying has Decay on very low cooldown.
It's good against all the heroes, I'm not gonna lie.
Baby.
As Blast Off gonna connect from Soxa. As DM is there with a hoof stomp, and they will clean up Rue in turn. Yatoro trying to get the job done with Soxa, but the Lotus keeps him safe. As he will be pressured out. That time walk.
Okay, low. Low wall like top G like for my you get going.
Very nicely done on the Malady, as Watson now getting blocked off by Collapse. We'll be able to get back to this tier 1.
Not quite. Still very good pressure. Getting some kill here, and you also see that Watson is on overall low HP.
Is there, if you're picking Void, which again is not the most common thing, is Battle Fury just the way to go, or is there actually a choice here?
I don't think you always need to go Battle Fury. I still like, you know,
the overall build.
We've also seen some games with, like Dominator.
နည်းနည်းချလိုက်ဖမ်းလိုက်လုံးဝရမှာ Fury ထဲဖမ်းနေပွဲကပြီးသွားပြီလား
HP region, which is why the Ring of Health should be pretty nice.
TI မှာဟိုအားမေတို့လောက်သွားတဲ့အကွက်လို့ဖြစ်သွားမယ်
which means
ဘယ်အသင်းမှာဟို Final Assassin မပစ်တော့ဘူး PA ကိုမပစ်တော့သူတို့ပစ်ပြီးတော့ဆော့တယ် Fury ဆက်ပြီးဖမ်းပြီးတော့ရှုံးသွား
I think we need to start seeing Centaur bans or like high
အဲ့ကွက်ကြီးဖြစ်တော့မလားမ
physical
သိဘူး
that shred
Tspirit
this guy. Like maybe some TA +1 in potential lanes.
Or maybe if you pick Undying
on your side, amplify.
Potentially is. You see going to work on Not Me. He's going to be cleaned up easily.
ကောင်းနေဒုက္ခပေးနေအဲ့အန်တိုင်းရင်မဲ့တွေ့လားအမဇွန်ဘီတွေလိုက်နေမဘန်းအဲ့ hero
And Laurel is level 6, so Mortimer Kiss is online.
That's right.
Strike will be shared by the creep, so Collapse lives.
Yeah. Nicely done to just make sure even if the Sunstrike is there, of
now,
course it will
considering, I mean, we talked about Void being a
really line up တော့ကောင်းတယ် line up ကကောင်းတယ်တက်ဆာဆက်ဆာယုံကြည်ရတယ် position 4ကဒီကတော့ဟိုကအရင်တည်းကအရင်ကြိုက်တယ်တယ်မပါဘူးအဲ့ကောင်သိရမလား participation မှာလေဟိုကကွာအဲ့ကောင်အဲ့ရတယ်မပါဘူးဒီအသင်းမှာကျတော့သူ့အနေနဲ့သူအစင်းလေးပြေးနေတာလို့ participation မှာအမြဲစေးထိုးတဲ့ကောင်လေးအဲ့ကောင်ဘလက်ဟိုးဆွဲပြီးတော့ကိုမှတ်ထားတယ်အဲ့ကောင် Baby Chira oh Tornado 3 man
But the cookie does
Finding blast oh there they all
for him to walk away.
Well, I was saying he's overplaying, but he made the best of that because in the meantime, look what happened to the Wisdom Shrines.
Oh,
double
again.
up here for Yandex. Malady.
The Wisdom Shrine bot himself, programmed to do one thing and one thing only. Doesn't matter if he dies 10 times in a game, he will be going to the Wisdom Shrine.
Every 7 minutes he will be there, even without the tombstone this time around. So
you might as well give global vision to Spirit because you know he's going to be there.
I'm just making it work though, because very, very costly. You're bringing so many heroes mid to this Invoker.
Wisdom na kuha, no? And
they're going to spot him here. Swashbuckle gets him to relatively low HP, and Malady will fall.
They do have, so the first snap...
But he's back!
Which is very nice. But they do have the snap ult against the Centaur early on. It's also another thing. Like, he just reaches the state very early where you can't really kill him. But snap ult, honestly, if you have a snap mid, you don't care what your team has. If you have any stun or slow with a snap ult, that hero is dead.
လေဂိမ်းကတော့ split ကြိုက်တာဗော feather white ကြီးဟာဟိုကတကယ် super လေဂိမ်းကတော့ split ကြိုက်အဲ့ super လေဂိမ်းကိုအေး chrono လာပြီ chrono
might not even need to use anything drastic here as Chiro
chrono အုပ်လိုက်ပြီနှကောင်
onto 2. Not that much follow-up, but
stupid
Junior, the Stampede is going to be there, but not
sure.
Collapse gets the kill with the swashbuckle. A nice turnaround here from Spirit. Very disciplined on the Chronosphere.
Yatoro was waiting 10 years for the taser to pop, and then the one hit on CJ while he stampeded was a bash. I'm pretty sure without that bash, he actually would not have died. This is why you
pseudo-random for the win.
Yeah, sure. When you're, I guess, when you're Yatoro, Team Spirit, and down one game at EWC, you prime that shit.
Yeah, let's see this replay here.
Yeah, it is a nice rotation, but now watch this. Yeah, he's just waiting forever for the taser to dodge the disarm there. And now watch the bash. Come on, what am I watching? Genius.
Not
genius
bad.
Void player.
Very genius. As Yandex not in the same position that they were in last game. They had
the
a
white guy.
1 to 2K lead.
I don't know kind of
Snowball
snowball
it just
Actually
slightly.
winner so that first stage ne bash win
That
wa
does help. Watson only
Oh,
0
Casta
and 0
ရှင်း
at
ပြ
this
နေ
point,
ဒီမှာ
so
ကြည့်ရ
not the same impact.
လုံးဝမခုတ်ဘဲနဲ့ထိုင်ဆောင်နေတာကွာဒီကတက်ခီရဲ့ level 2နဲ့ level 2တင်ပေးတာတော့ immo ကောင်မခုတ်ဘဲနဲ့လုံးဝထိုင်ဆောင် level 2လဲကုန်လဲကုန်ရောတစ်ချက်ပြေးရိုက်လိုက်တာ bash ဝင်သွားအဲ့တစ်ချက်က
And it is nice if you can do this to Centaur.
နော်ရာဒိုလိုကိုင်းလို့ပို့ပြီး bash ထားတယ်လို့ပါတော့တဲ့
pull some creep
What?
waves around and whatnot, but
ခဏဖိုင်ကမီးစာဆွဲနေပြီ 3-0 Story Botte Majestic မန်နာတော့လောက်တယ်ကွာ Story လေးနှိပ်လိုက် Scatter Blast လေးသုံးလိုက်အဲ့လေ fan လို့ဆောင်းအောင်ကောင်း
True. A nice little counter for them. as
အဲ့
the
ထိတ်ဆုံးပါ
game
လောလောဆယ်
progresses.
ရာဒိုလိုကတော့သူ
Toro has the
သုံး
perseverance
ဖြတ်ပြီး
now.
သားအတိုင်းပဲ Fury သွားဖို့
Left to
လုပ်
his
နေ
own
တယ်
devices for the most part, outside of that one gank in the mid lane.
It's not
But then
easy
again,
for
so
them.
has DM. And that's exactly what Centaur exists to do in this current meta.
I guess
why
like,
got
that's
level
one
3
way to
တစ်ဆင့်ပဲ
go
တင်
about
တာ
it.
နော်
It is not easy to pressure Centaur, but if you
Time
can
log
make
got
sure
the
that
same,
you have
eh?
like this
Two
ultra
lang.
carry matchup, which Void
One
generally
zone,
is,
2
right?
to
So if you're
sing,
trading
3 to
farm,
sing.
or maybe losing slightly,
အေး
it's
အေး
okay
ဟို
because
ရောက်
you
လာ
have
ပြီ
the Void matchup.
Watson ဖင်အောင်လည်း
You
ရောက်
can
နေ
see
နော်
here that Watson is looking for a move. I don't know if the scan clipped him earlier, but obviously if the fight breaks out in 10 seconds they have chrono, so if you don't burst him, there's a lot of counterplay available. Chain Frost also up.
Wrapping around. Toro seems to be somewhat aware of this possibility. Watson shows himself.
Hey,
on the
what's
current
that,
base,
baby?
but greeted by a couple of members on the high ground. It's up a decent
Nice
amount of
blast
damage
off.
onto Laurel. They get the connection.
Oh,
Arcane
piat
totally
သွား
gets
ပြီ
bursted to the ground. Mortimer's Kisses comes out though, as Watson just going to be buried underneath the blue fire. As a Chain Frost doing work as well. Not me with the
တော့လေ
sharpshooter to finish the job onto the Centaur. So a 3 for 2 in favor of Spirit.
They could not have asked for a better start to that fight as Malady wants to
အနိုင်
keep
ရင်
it
သွား
going
ရှုံ
for
နေ
now.
ပြန်ပြီ
Like killing Yatoro's Void from full 2-0 with a beautiful blast off. But you can still see their supports are, there's so much damage in these 3 supports on the Spirit side. I call them 3 supports, it's a mid-snap fire.
In a way.
Yeah, but he does play more to, you know, help your team out. Because this looks like a disaster. That Watson goes up the high ground into like 2 supports, but this Chain Frost went ultra ham. 3,000 damage from Ruin this fight with the snap will just... It's
Chain Frost
literally
အသေးရိုက်တာ
one
ကြီး
support and the mid just killing everybody.
Yeah.
6ချက်လောက်ရိုက်သွား
Very
Chain
nice
Frost
clean
5
up
ချက် 6
there
ချက်လောက်
for
ရိုက်
Spirit.
သွား
Wonder if DM, because currently he has the hard queued up, and we've seen some deviation, you know, early Lotus Orb maybe.
ဒီ
a
ပွဲက
hard-
DM
Fight
ပိုက်
is
သွားပေးရမှာ
ultra giga
ပိုက်ဟက်
against this team.
ဒါမျိုးသွားပေးရမှာ
Could
မ
help you
list
to
skin တွေ
survive
ရော
the
Snapfire
chrono
စစ်တွေ
chain
ရော
frost
ပိုက်က
combo,
လိုအပ်သလားလို့
and also the chrono kisses as we
ဒါမှမဟုတ်လေအန်တိုင်းကြီးပိုက်သွားပါတော့အန်တိုင်းကြီးကပိုက်သွားရင်တော့တော်တော်ကြာမှာ
Looks like he's
နှစ်နှစ်
opting
လောက်ကြာ
for
လိမ့်မယ်
first,
အဲ့ကောင်ပိုက်သွားရင်
actually.
Yeah, I wonder if he will change that around.
All let's go
Even go
diffuser ရ
hard,
သွားပြီ
even go
နော်စွမ်းတော့
hard.
စွမ်းသွားပြီ
I
diffuser
feel like I never see that.
No, because you can also go like
ဒီ
you
ဘက်
can go
collapse လဲ
Nicholas
ယုံပြီးလို့တော့
against
ရ
the
တယ်
other
ပေါ့
side, which
diffuser
would be
တခါ
fine
လောက်
into
ဆိုလို့ရှိရင် invo ကနောက်ကို
fight
တောက်လျှောက်လိုက်ပြီးတော့
because then you would use it
အဲ
to
mid game battle တွေမှာ
push
ထိန်းမိတော့
into
ရ
these fights,
BKB
but
မရ
it
ခင်ပေါ့
could
နော်
just be we've seen it in some of the
ထိန်းမိ
other
တော့ရ
games, people
diffuser လိုက်
decide
ပေါက်
to
ပြီးတော့
go for like the more
နောက်ဆုံး
stable
BKB
stuff
ရ
for
သွားခဲ့ရင်လည်း
themselves and
chrono
just
OB
push
တီး
it
လို့ရ
through,
သွားပြီ
go
ကွာ
for the late game, scale it up, get fat on all of them. It's kind of what they did last game.
Ali
They didn't
Baima.
really fight that much into Spirit.
Yeah.
ပန်ကိုလည်းမစိုးလိုက်ထိန်းရ
Malady's going to go
အဲ
for
second
some
item တ
stacks
ခါ
here.
ဝယ်ဖို့တော့
Watson
လိုတယ်အဲ့လို
in the
invo ကိုလိုက်ထိန်းဖို့
meantime
ဖမ်းဖို့
on the
ဘာညာလုပ်ဖို့ဆိုရင်
About to finish.
second item အပြာကြောင်းကြီးထည့်လိုက်ရင်တော့
200
ပုတ်
away
သွား
from
မှာ
finishing the Desolator.
အဲ့လိုကြီးလိုက်
And
လိုက်ဖမ်းလို့မရ
for his
တော့
counterpart in Yatoro is a broadsword essentially away from finishing the Battle Fury, which means he can actually start farming at that point,
Yeah,
because
he's
right
quite
now
ha-
it's quite pitiful.
brainless
He's
white
quite happy. Or I was most cores
Brains
I'm
that boy.
fairly happy with how the game is going, even collapsing.
Fury သွားတဲ့ကကိုလည်းထင်တော့ထင်တယ်
Down
အဲ့
on
ကောင်
the network, does have a
ဘာလုပ်ပြရ
diffuser
မလဲမသိ
But CJ is whittling down this mid-tier 1 tower over and over.
အဲ तू ကတော့
Speaking of
Fury
heroes
သား
to
သွား
steal
နေတာကွာ
mages,
team နဲ့
I'd
လိုက်
say
တော့ချ
Panda
တယ်
is right up there.
Probably
Chrono
like top
လာလာတော့
three
သုံး
even,
ပေးတယ်
right? You
ကွာ
can always go in, you're
နောက်မှ
super
သူ့အတွက်ထည့်ပေးမဲ့
overwhelmed,
spell တွေက
you've got
များ
the
တာ
power to
ကို
back it up, and you're stunning everyone who's not BKB'd.
တွေ့ပြီ
With the smoke,
တွေ့ပြီ
Ujira Jr.
Chrono
takes the time
အာ
dilation and the
I think he's
chrono.
dead.
Mortimer's not
Ooh,
even
Mortimer
needed,
Kiss
really.
away ပဲ
Easy pick off for Spirit, and it's a big kill.
No, that was 4 ults down the drain. Let's see
True.
if Yandex can turn it into something. At least CJ, while being dead, gets to play the 4 spirits. Socks
The
up, blast
blast
off.
off with the mines. That's a lot of damage.
Oh.
Not quite enough to get the kill.
Claro,
though.
no?
Not me. Gonna try to turn it around to Soxa instead. Scatter blast, but the Stampede to keep him safe. Wait, where's Malady?
Yeah, he's
Huh?
not here.
Malady
He gave the program to Watson's computer for this Wisdom Shrine.
Inserted virus, and Watson loses control of mouse and heads towards the Wisdom Shrine randomly. Interesting.
Does get it. And CJ, while he was dead, took the enemy Meteor 1 tower and denied an Arcane Rune with the Forge Spirit. So it's important that while you're dead, don't tap out, don't walk off the stage. Stay up there. Control your forges.
Second item.
Little tip for all of you guys at home. Stop tapping out for the YouTubes and the Spotify songs. Stay locked in.
He was a bit nine wine, okay? 3 draw cheek on one. I'm so good on 9 wine.
Start scrolling your TikTok.
Yeah, listen to us instead. Definitely no brain rot in us.
Hey, baby boy.
Into the tornado. They have the stun.
Okay, mà chế là who's on it? They vào bị quá. Lâu lâu đó không hiểu. Nên nó sẽ là tập hiệu gì?
Great move and nice smoke, like just including your invoker there, because you don't have any real like instant stun. It was a tornado to set up all this follow stun. Getting a kill on your torrent bot tier 1 as Malady finds himself in yeah, gets a tower defense.
Yeah, that's a big juicy zombie. We'll defend it successfully. And man, he goes for shard every game on this year. It's really interesting.
I like it.
I don't see this on anyone else. Right?
So Kateomi did it the other day as well, and I like it in these drafts. Because I think, first of all, you're kind of hard to kill, so you're walking in first, and eventually people kind of ignore you or they want to kill the tombstone. It just gives you like something else to play for. And just dodging like a Chain Frost or like some Snap Kisses can be insanely good. So might need Laurel to, you know, be within the fight and kill the tombstone.
Do you think he'll go for like an Aether Lens for the Chrono saves potentially?
I don't know. Probably not.
That's pretty wild.
He'll put down the tombstone. Notmi gets cookied in as the sacrifice is Malady, as Spirit just completely destroy him. Yeah, I'm surprised that's already up again. Yeah. Like I just heard him laugh a couple minutes ago. Watson wants to open things up.
Sunstrike both don't
oh! And the Sunstrike, it's enough. Collapsed it to rights as Chira Jr. finds a little squirrel on the back line as well.
Sunstrike ရကွာ ။ကောင်းလဲလို့ကွာ။နောက်ပြီးဒီကောင်ရဲ့ဘုံထောင်တဲ့ဟာကိုကြည့်လိုက်ရင်သိတာ level 3နဲ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးခုံသွားတဲ့အောက်ကိုမရောက်ခင်ပါလေဒီကောင်ဘုံသုံးလုံးထောင်ပြီးသွားတယ်။ level လောက်မြင်လဲဆိုတော့ဘုံသုံးလုံးကဘတ်ဆိုထောင်ပြီးသွားတယ်။ပြီးမှအဲ့ level 3ပေါက်တဲ့ blood soul ပေါက်တဲ့ဟာကြာ။ပြီးရတယ်ကွက်တီဘွမ်းဆိုဘုံတွေကထပေါက်
Yeah, I'm surprised he teamed this well. This is a very good read from Yandex.
Yeah, I mean he does have Chrono, so the Chrono Mortimers, but he can go to work now on this. Soon to be
Fury ရသွားပြီ
Socks up.
အဆက်ဖြစ်မှာလဲ Fury ပြီးရင်တော့ Manda စတိုင် BKB ပေါ့ဒါကတော့ Fury လမ်းစဉ်ကတော့ဒီလိုပဲသွားရမှာပဲ Test speed တိတ်မလောက် Chain 2 လမ်းကြောင်းကကြတော့ Chain 2 အကြီးသွားလိုက်တဲ့အတွက် attack speed ပါပြီးသားဖြစ်သွားတယ်အဲ့တော့ BKB တန်းထည့်လို့ရဒီ Fury လမ်းကြောင်းကကြတော့ Fury ပြီးတော့ BKB တန်းထည့်လိုက်ရင်ငပိုးကြီးဖြစ်သွား attack speed မပါဘာမပါနဲ့ eBay အဲ့တော့ attack speed လေးပါလေးပါအောင်လို့ mana ဆိုင်လောက်အရှင်သွားအဲ့မှာနေ BKB တိုင်းမင်းနဲ့နောက်ကြတော့အဲ့လိုတော့ရှိလမ်းကြောင်းမတူအဲ့ဒီမှာကလင်ရဒီမှာအဲ့နှစ်ကွက်နဲ့ white တော့မှာမိနစ်20တောင်းမန်တာလည်းဒီကောင်တွေပဲရဖို့များတယ်ပြီးတော့ first agent လည်းဒီကောင်တွေရမှာ and I cleanse အဲ့ဟာဒီဘက်က split နေနဲ့ဘာလုပ်နိုင်မလဲကြည့်ရမှာကျန်တဲ့၄ကောင်ပေါင်းပြီးတော့တခုခုခံတီးနိုင်တော့မစိုးဘူး white ကိုခဏဖယ်ထားကွာ chrono ပဲယူလို့ရမှာဒီအချိန်က
actually upgrade to a disperser eventually to
white online ဖြစ်သေးတဲ့အချိန်မှာဒီကောင်တွေဘယ်လိုဆော့ထားမလဲကြည့်ရမှာလားတော့တော်တော်ယုံမေးထားတယ်ကွာလောလောဆယ်နောက်တော့9500တော့ထိတ်ဆုံးမှရှိနေတယ် Manda ဆိုင်ကာယာ okay
What happened to the
Manda ဆိုင်ကာယာ Manda ဆိုင်တော့ဖြစ်တယ် travel ကာယာပြောတာ travel ကာယာနဲ့
this ultra giga chain stun with like the Yules I think nowadays
does it still work that way
it still does I mean it's like not as good as
Western Gate ဆိုတာကောင်းလားတင်းကကောင်းပြီလူကြီးများဟိုဒီကောင်ကောင်းပါလေအရင်တည်းက Western
go diffusal you want to go blink you want to go shot
ငိမ့်နေကွာ
like whatever luxurious stuff like Octarine
ဖန်တာလည်းကောင်းတယ်ပြင်မှာ
You really wouldn't put Basher in that category.
Definitely, it still comes out like around those items.
White ပြကြောင်းပါလေ White ပြကြောင်း level 1 ခုံလိုက်လို့ရှိရင်
Coming out for DM.
ခုံလိုက်တဲ့နေရာမှာ Bash တွေဝင်တာ
Not going to clip him. Gets off the shield, crashes just in time, and the Sunstrike's doing so much damage. He gets killed up before the TPs can come in. Now the counteraction onto the newly picked up heart from the Centaur. DM taking a lot of damage. Even the heart not enough for him to survive. Watson opens it up on the support, so deletes the glitch. But absolutely no follow-up for Yatoro. So Yandex,
Why got
they get 3 for 1
info
special.
ကောပဲ
And they're going to pressure this
ခုံ
tier 2.
ခုံပြီးအုပ်ကတော့မလို့လို့ तू အုပ်မယ် तू invoker စီကိုဝင်သွားတယ်ကွာ level 2ဖြန်းတယ် chrono အုပ်မလို့ကြည့်လိုက်တာ तू နောက်မှာဒါပေမဲ့ပေးမဲ့ကောင်းနေတာမရှိဘူးဒီနားမှာဒစ်တွေလဲအဲ့တော့ तू က invoker ကို chrono မအုပ်လိုက်ဘူးမအုပ်လိုက်တဲ့အချိန်မှာကလင့်ကအကုန်လုံးကိုပစ်ခွဲနေပြီအဲ့တော့ရောင်ပြီးကလင့်ကြီးကိုအုပ်ချပလိုက်တယ်ဘာတွေဖြစ်ကုန်ပြီလဲမသိဘူး ရတိုတို့လုံးဝ big gamble လုပ်ပလိုက်တာ
The Yandex now with a 6k lead.
အားလေးပိုင်းဒီလောက်ထိလာချမယ်ဆိုတာသိနေတာပဲသိရမလားအဲ့တော့ Fury နဲ့ဆော့တော့ဒီလိုအနေထားတွေကတော့ဖြစ်လာမှာပဲ
It's kind of close.
အဲ့ဟာကိုသူရအောင်ကြော်နိုင်မလားကြည့်ရမယ်ကြော်နိုင်ဖို့ကတော့ကို့ထင်တော့ 10% 10% လောက်ပဲရှိမယ်ကြော်နိုင်ဖို့ကအဲ့မှာ20% လောက်20%လောက်တော့ရှိဟိုမှာမိနစ်20တောင်းမန်တိုင်းပါရသွားပြီး now different 8k 9k လောက်တော့ကြာတော့မှာပြီးတော့ chrono လည်းမရှိဘူး
They are in big trouble because you need the team fight. Yotaro needs time in these fights to deal damage and to look for the right chrono. Because without the game is going
အဲ့ဒီတော့2စီဟုတ်တယ်လေဒီမှာ2စီဖြစ်ဖို့များနေပြီ
to take the Roche. Now it's 20 minutes. It's super easy. You've got the zombie as well. Currently setting up a tormentor play. But Saxa is kind of intercepting this one.
Oh.
Yeah, runs right into Laurel. It's off the sticky bomb, but that's all he's going to get off. 30 seconds.
အတန်ပါတယ်တော်မန်တာယူဖို့အတွက်ကိုသူသွားပြီးတော့စပုတ်သွား break ထားတာပေါ့
Oh, this feels so good. He's now top net worth. Like the thing with Centaurs already, and I feel like a broken record because this hero is nearly top net worth every game. You get once you get the heart, it's very difficult to kill you. Now you just want to go blink and shard, be super annoying, get like 3 stacks, maybe 4 on the double edge within the fight. If DM has a good start to the fight and gets like 1 or 2 heroes, collapse.
Collapse? Oh
my.
Okay.
Burns away to cheer us.
They're just getting
another big kill for Yandex.
They're just getting gamed. Like in the early game, CJ, they try to gank him, he gets out, they get the double wisdom shrine, and now here, play after play. This is an Exort Invoker that's setting up plays and getting solo kills this early on. It's not really something you expect.
Yandex just having terrific performance. It just took the meteor to burn him out.
That was an insane angle on the Death Blast because you didn't want to push him straight down. He needed to push him diagonally with the meteor, and he did. I mean, just showcasing why this guy, he's kind of a goat on Invoker.
Yeah. This gonna spell trouble
for
Spirit because Yotoro's not even close to being online. Really, I mean, when would you consider this hero to be online? A third item after this manta?
တော့ 8k ပြတ်သွားပြီ 21 minute မှာမန်နာဆိုင်တော့ပါလာပြီကွာရာတိုးလို့မန်နာဆိုင်တော့ပါလာပြီနည်းနည်းခုတ်ပေးလို့တော့နည်းနည်းတော့ရပါပြီလိုနေသေးတယ်အောက်မှာဖမ်းထားတယ်
Saxa finds one in the squirrel and
okay
there to help clean up.
ဒီတော့မသေးသေးဘူး
Not gonna hit, not me stuck inside a corner. The Mortimers is just ripping Saxa a new one as
ရာတိုးလာကယ်ပေးလိုက်ပြီ
A good turnaround here for Spirit. The Yandex, I mean, if that's all they're going to give up, then not the end of the world at all.
Yeah, that was a snap ult used, and you know where all the heroes are, so you don't really care. There's CJ as well. This is a very annoying combo. The Ghostwalk Shard combo with the Searing Signet. You're just clearing like every creep camp and every creep wave. Very, very nasty.
I've noticed that Yandex in general really prioritize shards on average. I wonder if they have like this hero pool where they're just not picking certain heroes that their shard just sucks ass.
Honestly,
you're picking Malady, he gets his shard every game really early. And I'm not saying this is a bad shard. He hasn't used it. Like it's been literally not been used a single time, but it opens up the Tormentor to go to somebody that could be even more valuable with the Centaur being
the Centaur is definitely one of the ones that I love seeing this early on. Like the fact that you have a chance to get it is definitely ultra nice. And there's something about overall how Yandex play the mid game. I feel like they're very
man. Combo 3မှာအေးတေးသွားပြီอ่ะ ဒါကခုံရတယ်
squeeze in like one explosive play into back off. Wait a bit, find the same scenario, set it up on the map, and then do it again.
Very calculated. Stealing some farm now from the enemy Ancients. Chira Jr. is going for the Glip Glop, as he'd like to call it, Life Near, so extra AoE.
Definitely love that one. They're closing in on a gem on Not Me, but he will die first.
And Watson claims him, and let's see what his progress is. So effectively a recipe away from a BKB on the Clinks, and would assume that with that, actually let's see what that ends up aligning with, because Chira Jr. is going to have his Glypnir by that point, and DM, who just picked up a Blink, is already 1,000 into, actually more so, has the Ogre.
Hey,
BKB
Chrono, how are
you? Comes out from Yatoro. Do they have the follow-up damage? Absolutely.
Hey, I'm a 10 round, hold there, yeah. One Chrono, no?
From Spirit into Roche. This is
One
a
Chrono.
huge play for them.
This is really big because with what it looked like, I think Spirit were going to
go cool shit, Chrono rolling on machine. And if I say them machine, you are going to win on 9, you know.
Is he actually going to try for this? Malady actually jumps in, but Roche is not even remotely low. Yatoro jumps on top of Watson, gets cookied right on his face, collapses, not going to survive, but they do kill off Watson in the end. And DM joining the party now with the double edge into the hoof stomp. Where's the backup though? He's got his little baby centaur to help out, but that's about it.
Hey, the gang in the win it, the gang in the win it, Yadu go long, Yai Query.
Not nearly enough as Spirit.
Hit 9 leader, came to reach 9 leader.
Roche on top of Malady in all likelihood. They kill off the tombstone here shortly, along with Malady.
We're going to win a no other la.
I don't know how this team does.
Yandex got winner, win lo ya. Di ba ma spell long oneမရှိဘူးဒါပေမဲ့
before he goes all the way.
အနိုင်ရအထဲကိုအဲ့လိုကြီးပြစ်ဝင်သွားတာကြီးကအရန်အနေအများတကယ်ဆိုရင်တိုင်ကိုအပြင်မှာထောင်လိုက်ကွာအထဲမှာဇွန်ဘီတွေသူ့ဟာသူသွားပေါ်မှာပြီးအဲ့ကလင်သားမှာပဲနေပြီးတော့လှုပ်လိုက်ရင်တော့ဗတ်တယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးမဖြစ်သွားတော့အနိုင်ရအထဲကြီးကိုဝင်သွားပြီးတော့ကလင်ကအပြင်ရောက်အဲ့မှာဒီကောင်တွေကွဲနေကြည့်ရမှာလူလေး3ယောက်ကွာကွဲနေတော့ဖြစ်တယ်ကွာအဲ့မှာတော့လားအနိုင်ရဒီထဲကြီးဝင်သွားလို့ဒီနားလောက်မှာတိုင်ထောင်ပြီးဒီနားမှာချရင်အများကြီးဖြစ်နိုင်တယ်
It's just something uncanny about it. But it's extremely effective when you have the Chronosphere setup.
I wonder why they committed like so much on Yandex. After you lost 2 heroes, maybe you just like throw in the tombstone or let Malady do it on his own and just, you know, play a little bit more time on both DM and Watson.
Yeah, it felt like a little domino effect here. They just desperately tried to get the delay for Roche to switch spots, but in the end, it didn't really matter. They lose everybody on their team, and Roche dies mid-river anyway.
Can definitely be one of those things where, you know, you are playing against Spirit, you're in the playoffs, you don't really want to give them anything they don't deserve because you know what they can do later if they do get the gold and the time to get there.
Yatoro knows that Shira's nearby, hounding him a bit. Laurel joining in on the fun.
No, they all see each other as both sides have nearly identical wards and sentries.
Gonna need some high ground vision for that ward, but we'll back away for now as looks like the Lich is going to get dropped here. Gets the Chain Frost off, but to no avail. Yandex still with a 5k lead, but we'll see how much. I mean, anytime you have a hero like a Faceless Void that you want to get to late game, if you could just, even just taking the Aegis away from the enemy to delay, buying extra time for this hero is huge.
Any time and space is really all that you want.
Rolling Thunder. Watson in a bit of trouble here. Laurel is near right-click damage to collapse. There's the Mortimer's Kisses as Watson's going to try to brush it off with that BKB.
Chrono. Hey. Yeah, as we know, separate diamond in it. Yeah, wabi no. Hoga long identity la. Yado roya.
That's another, and you know how they knew that.
Amam load in any eye. My dollar you. Yan Chow wabi.
They knew that he was walking through this.
With a white leg here on the Yan Chow you. Shout lonely.
The Wisdom Shrine bot to walk.
The aluminium shout lonely.
This tier 1 tower still up, but not for long.
Yeah, go long. Yaidoma.
These are big moves. Of course, they did have to use the Chrono. Let's see if Yandex want to try to do something on that timing.
Actually, will be defended.
အခုချိန်မှာ1 chrono 1k ဖြစ်သွားပြီဘယ်သူအကူညီမှမယူဘဲနဲ့သူတက်လို့ရတော့မှာမကြခင်မှာဒီကေယူပါလာရင်ပြီးသွားပြီကွာကလင်းလောက်ကိုသူ AC ခုတ်တက်လို့ရတယ်နောက်ကနေစပူတာတစ်ကောင်လောက်ပဲပြည့်တွဲလိုက်ရင်ခုတ်တက်လို့ရအင်ဗိုကာကိုလည်းခုတ်တက်လို့ရပါပြီဒီအနေထား
So you can look to dodge that, which is quite nice.
A little surprising though, I think.
A little bit.
Because no Bloodthorn ended up coming out for Watson.
Definitely will be coming out later.
If you have like a Cold Snap or something like that, you have the Shard already on Pango.
I think also one thing Spirit learned from the last game, tier 3 greedy enchantments, they only had 3. They're now upgraded to 4.
Oh, wow.
3 do
the one that doesn't have it is Yatoro.
3 do.
The only 2 guys that don't have it are
လန့်နေတာဒီကောင်လေဂိမ်းငါတို့ void ကိုရှင်းဆုံးလို့မရဘူးဆိုပြီးတော့လန့်ပြီးတော့အမားတွေလောက်ကုန်
Very interesting.
အဲ့ Roshan အမားရဲ့
Having the game
Eh?
collapse.
Rolling
Thunder. Gets the dust. Chira Jr. has to pop the BKB now in retreat. As well. Gets off the tornado, attempting to TP in the cover of the BKB is fine.
Let's
piercing stun without the chrono up.
Yeah, do need Yatoro there to at least use one auto attack or a chrono.
Malady.
Nice dodge.
Will grab himself. TP's coming in. He's going to get broken thanks to the sharpshooter. Just getting destroyed. But the Hoofstomp comes out onto Yatoro with the meteors. Life number 1. Very little commitment needed from Yandex. Just look at the damage. Completely decimated. Now Yatoro getting help with that bushwhack. Is this enough damage to kill him off? It is. Another death for Watson. Leipnir onto 2 as Yandex want to continue to fight despite not having their clinks. Laurel gets isolated on the other side, gets Hoofstomp into the double edge. He's going to drop his Yatoro, trying to right click down Malady. We'll get that double kill. And it's collapsed, attempted TP. Looks to be fine. Nope, the Yules cancels it. Into the Sunstrike, into the kill for Yandex. A lot of back and forth in these fights.
Players would
not pull off. The fact that
Malady but minute offlane shot carry shot because even though Watson Yandex fight
like DM if the fight drags this is crazy good. It gives them time to like come over with the rest because even here he stays alive. Eats a Lotus, has the Soul Rip, and they just get 1 full life for free out of Yatoro.
And Watson cleans up the Lich very easily, but another death for the Clink's a bit costly for him specifically, but Yandex still win this fight, I would think overall, at least a little bit. Still relatively even.
Like also making sure that it's not just all on the Clinks, you're getting more gold, more XP on your Invoker, so they can start being annoying, make it a little bit, you know, harder for Yatoro to play around these fights. We see again Saksa using the Yules, easy setup there on CJ, who is of course locked in here on his Invoker.
They are Yadu Ramo to Walo channel.
On the Invoker and on the center. So can easily reach the 5-6 Centaur.
Hello, I don't know now. I Fury ne bia jang ne pyo me so yin combo ayin ne combo wa Fury bia jang deadless ga combo.
Time dilation, but not the case. I mean, BKBs have been coming out.
They
do kind of need it, and I think it's the correct choice. This way he also gives himself a little bit of armor.
Eh, shot ne solution. Hello, when wa lai pian thwat la lai hello lou lu ya. Bia jang li ne so a chong lu ya lo. BKB ba to swa lu ya hello myo. Chrono takae ma out phan ne hello lou lu ya.
Nowadays on Void, it's way too good. It gives you so many effects. You just get the, you know, you get your kind of old shard, how it used to be, and you also get the AoE badge, which is very nice. Let's say Yandex had to fight for this Tormentor.
Yeah. Raid boss down.
What was
now
the,
all 5 shards coming in, so Techies
the Techies abbreviation? Mutual something destruction?
Assured destruction.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you to the fan out there that
you
educated us.
And you signed his stock, of course.
That's NA and German education system failing us.
Yeah. See, Spurter looking for a bigger play. It's a 5-man smoke. Roche can't even.
They were 23.
This is the classic.
It's level what? 80 rune,
damage rune.
DM.
I think he's dead.
Oh.
Okay, he's not dead. Barely gets out with full HP.
I don't know exactly what happened.
I thought they would definitely jump him.
It looked like that Yatoro like initially turned around. Maybe someone showed on like the midway for a moment and they were looking at something else. Because
I guess, I mean, we have the vision, obviously. They don't know if everybody's behind him. You don't want to just chrono a single Centaur. Or do you? I don't know.
You could, but even then they needed to cancel his blink, maybe also pull him with Rue. But you can tell that, you know, Yandex making the best of the map. I like their map split currently. You know, CJ can always be on one side, push in the lane with the Ghost Walk, keep your force
ready.
Out of it now.
Now the question is, combo ya so no deadless to am, right? To linking to am ne wa. Also, Invoker ဖားပြောင်းသွားနေတာသူမြင်ထားတယ်ထင်တယ် Invoker လည်းဖားပြောင်းရာဝိုက်လားမသိဘူးစောစောဝယ်လိုက်တာ Facebook က link ကြီးကလည်းလိုသွားပြန်ပြီဆိုတော့အဲ့အပြာချောင်းကြီးကဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးကြတော့ပုတ်သွားပြီကွာ Deadless နဲ့ combo မှကျန်တယ်အဲ့အပြာချောင်းကဒီတိုင်းကအဲ့လို
you know, to counter is that they already have one.
Actually, don't win.
You know that in the late game, like when you play against these some of these supports, especially Saxa in this game, there's a Lens, a Yules, a Force. You know eventually there's going to be one bigger one, which is also a Hex. But it does mean that Yotoro's damage output, it's not that crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going to question Yotoro, okay?
He's the one where this comment is actually true. You should not.
Yeah.
So like Linken's and then on his last item,
maybe he knows this game's going mega late anyway, so.
Maybe he's waiting for the 60-minute Stygian. That's going to be his damage.
That's right. He'll need a little bit of attack speed though, additional on top of that though. And I mean, what would you like to see him go for? Like a
dataless. Ooh. I miss ဆောင်ရမ်းများရနော် Pass ပြောင်းခံလိုက်ရပြီသေသွားတယ်ဆိုတဲ့အကွက်တွေဖြစ်တော့မှာပဲ Void က
late game choice of course for the Void.
Yeah.
I guess one of the other things, if you're a Spirit or a Spirit fan, I do think you're kind of waiting for Collapse to start showing his face and his impact in this game. It's been rather quiet.
In the series, even.
Yeah, it's true. Like in the tight game, quite shut down.
We were hyping him up with all the Aegis steals.
It's true. Now he's letting us down. He is closing in on a nullifier, which of course is quite good. It's going to help you try to, you know, keep some of these heroes in lock, especially also Saxa's Yule Scepter and the Taser, most importantly. Super annoying spell to deal with. So Yotoro is clearing the wave.
Actually, smoke on both sides. Not fully connected yet onto Yandex, though. As Roche up in 13 seconds. So victor of this fight will likely get Roche.
And Malady gave his script to
Tspirit က first hour နှလုံးယူဖို့ကြံသေးတယ်နော် What the fuck Map control ကြီးอ่ะအဲ့ဆိုရင်တစ်မျိုးကြီးပဲအပေါ်လမ်းလည်း first hour မယူရသေးဘူးအောက်လမ်းလည်း first hour မယူရသေးဘူးအဲ့ဒီကောင်းနေပတ်တဲ့နိုင်ဝိုင်းအောင်မှ Yandex AC ပြန်ဟိုကာဗာလို့ရတယ်ကွာ Yandex နိုင်ဝိုင်းတခါလဲကလင်းကမက2လမ်းလောက်ကို AC ဖြုတ်သွားလို့ရတယ်show သွားပြီအောင်ပြန်လိုက်တာဘိုးချမ်းလည်းထွက်ပြီ GG ပဲရအောင်
Can Spirit defend this? Do they even want to try? I mean, it's going to be difficult without a rolling thunder to work with.
It certainly looks like they are just going to give it up. And like Yandex are just, they have a very good, I feel like they're very, not just confident, but also disciplined. Like they have very good reads on when to take one step forward to like look at what's going on, place a quick ward, boom, find the immediate play. As this is now a free Roche for them.
I mean, that's one of the benefits of the virus is discipline, apparently.
Yeah, it's a good virus, this
Every 7 minutes at a shrine, and then every fight, you just go in and out. You don't need to overcommit.
As there's not me gonna clear some bombas.
Watson with the Aegis, and they have Roche's banner as well. Although I can't find it. Oh, there it is on Watson as well.
Okay, gotta see what Yandex wanna execute with this. And find themselves a squirrel. We'll TP out. Of course, no basher on Malady yet. Might see that later.
That's a sick-looking zombie, actually.
It is. He's currently chasing the squirrel into the base.
I was committed. Cameraman was not.
That's all right. It would have died anyway.
Oh, no.
It's okay. You get the next best cool thing, which is Centaur set.
Rolling Thunder, but the BKB coming out from Chira Jr. And Collapse just going to back away. Yotoro not close enough to commit to a chrono play.
Froshi အုပ်ထားတဲ့ Rolling Thunder နော်အဲ့ဒါကိုနှစ်ချက်လောက်ဝင်သွားတွေးတွက်ရောက်သွားကြည့်အောင်လို့
defend this bot lane.
အမေက
siege here.
ဒါအောင် Froshi အုပ်လိုက်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့တွေမဝင်ခင်မှာအုပ်လိုက်တယ်ဒါပေမဲ့90%လောက် rotation လောက်ပေးလာတော့မှမခံနိုင်ဘူးစဉ်းစားကြည့်လိုက်တော့ကလင်းဒါပေမဲ့ဘယ်လောက်များနေပြီလဲ
You have a hex also on CJ, so if you do find
နောက်တစ်ကောင်တွေ့သွားပြီ
Stop onto Rue, but Cookie safe. Smoke still active for the majority of Yandex at the moment. Looking for any kind of an opening.
So Yotoro is still looking for this Linkens. A card also is available on DM. It's currently flying out to him, so you've got another set of save.
Indeed.
ဝါချီကအပြာကြောင်းနဲ့ကလင်းကိုတတ်ဖို့ကလည်းတော့မလွယ်တော့ဘူးကွာ Chrono ထဲမှာသေဒါတော့ Chrono ထဲမှာ N9 ကယ်ပြီးလို့ရသေးတယ် N9 သာညံကောင်းရင်ဒီပွဲ Etherland တွေပါထည့်လို့ရ Etherland ထည့်ပြီး
Okay, hold.
ဝင်သွားတယ်
It's a little poke. You've got level 25 and the Linkens on Yotoro. Snapfire late game is also ultra strong. Like the level 25 talent, you will kill anyone, even if they're BKB'd or they have a Heart of the Wrath. It's a lot of damage. And he's got the Timeless Enchanted Bobber. If he wants to, he can keep this for later, and they have insane damage. Can keep recycling, more spell damage, more debuff duration.
Okay. Would like to see that now that Tai Lung is out of the tournament.
Yeah, true. Gotta
need
have
somebody that's a successor. After all, pass it down.
Gotta have another miracle performance here if they do want to stay in the tournament for Spirit.
Ah, ဖားပြောင်းနေတယ်နော်လားဆက်စားလဲဖားပြောင်း
Yeah, this Aegis, I mean, so far they
ဘယ်
haven't
နဲ့ကောင်းတော့ပြောင်းမှာလို့
they've been constricting the map quite a bit. You can see the lead is continuing to grow ever so slowly in the favor of Yandex. 15k at the moment.
I definitely don't mind that Yandex aren't like, you know, doing some weird play where we've seen this from other teams, right? Oh, we have Aegis, we need to go high ground. You just play the map and what is in front of you. If the map looks good, if you get a kill, you go for that. Maybe then you can go high ground. Otherwise, I'm a big fan of the, you know, you wait for the double siege wave and then you can drop the banner. So minute 40, maybe with that wave, you could look to poke because you could force Spirit potentially out of position to kill the banner on the siege creeps.
တေးမလားမသိဘူးအင်ဗိုကာကိုသွားနိုင်ပြီကွာအခုချိုးတာမဟုတ်ဘူးတီတူကချောသွားပြီသူကကျိုးပြီးသွားပြီပေါ်မှာတစ်ချက်လူပြန်ခွဲပြီးတော့ဟိုနဲ့လူပြန်စုသွားအေးမိပြီဂျန်နဲ့နော်မီဟိုဘက်ကနော်အပေါ်မှာအယောင်သွားပြကောင်းတယ်ကွာအင်ဗိုကအပေါ်မှာနည်းနည်းလေးအယောင်သွားပြတယ်စပရကောင်တွေကစိတ်တွေရှုပ်ထွေးအပေါ်ပြေးတက်သွားအဲ့ချိန်မှာအလဲမှာဟိုကောင်မိသွားကိုဝင်ကမိသွားအင်ဗိုကအလဲတောင်ရောက်နေပြီကွာပြောရင်မက်ကစားသွားတာကြီးကဟုတ်တော့ဟုတ်တယ်ကွာYandex စပရကတစ်ချက်ရောင်သွားတယ်ကြည့်အောင်တက်အပြစ်ခံရ Oh my god
And can right click down from very far back. They're going to open things up with the Rolling Thunder, but the save comes in with the workhorse. It's enough. Saves out the Clinks. Obviously had that second life, but no need to use it right away. And again, that Roche banner still up and running. They get the
when I try to look, what? Wait, what? No, la, but we load that. No, do the power in your tail. Brother.
Now in a 5 versus 3 situation. Yandex in an extremely good position. Watson about to use his Aegis. Yotaro claims it with the time walk axe.
Me hero guy me. Hello, cookie window. Baby, little bro.
Destroyed.
You have no easy hold at all. You have no more Panga roll for 40 seconds, and Laurel finding himself with one of some of his bigger misplays that I've seen in a while.
Oh, there.
Yeah, they're just going to
misplay. Misplay. No one misplay. Me hero, hello, low like that. Yeah.
To arise for Yandex. 22k lead. Do they know about the buyback situation, though? They do not, because this is a gold-related one. Only 240 gold away for buyback on Laurel.
I think especially like with that type of play, which is already not normal, you would assume that he has buyback. So Yandex can just keep playing it cool. Also with how much money they've got loaded up in their bank. You have CJ on 9.
There's no need to rush this at all. Now Heart on Melody. Okay, so
and I had a bro Malo Haga, he gone young on the Etalan Hama, Etalan.
That depends also on how many the case stacks he has.
Etalan is a chrono open. Oh, chrono Otarago, the go, same, because
DM is already rocking up
900
without even doing anything.
မရတော့လို့လားပရိုရဲကောင်တိုင်လေးကိုထဲလို့မရတော့လို့များလားပါအရင်ကအဲ့ဒါ trend ထားသွားသေးတယ်
Depends kind of what he has.
Feather white ဟိုတော်တော်ကြာပါပြီ Feather white ကို Feather white ပါလို့ရှိရင်အန်တိုင်းကအဲ့လို Etherland ထည့်ပြီးကောင်းတာ
Once a fight breaks out, I think you can just take the pendulum.
အဲ့ဒါမရတော့လို့များလားဗောနော်ကိုလည်း update တွေမဖတ်တာကြာတော့မသိတော့
Once you don't need, because at this point you're starting to be full slow.
ကြာရင်တော့လုံးတယ် Etherland အကောင်းဆုံးပဲ ဟို Etherland ဖြုတ်လိုက်တာထင်တယ်နေအောင်
Same story.
Etherland ဂိမ်းထဲမှာမပါတော့ဟုတ်တယ်
Or the Idol of Skriok. I like this item. Get yourself a bit of slow resistance, some evasion.
Gas frame item မပါတော့တာလားမသိဘူးနေနောက်ဆုံး update မှာဖြုတ်လိုက်တာလားဘူတာနဲ့ဝေးနေတော့တိုင်နေပတ်တည့်ရလူပြောပြပါအဲ့ဒါလမ်းဂိမ်းထဲမှာရှိသေးလားမရှိတော့ဘူးလားလေဘော်တင်နာအကြီးရောဟေးအေဗိုကအကုန်လုံးကခရိုနိုတဲ့အကောင်တွေကိုစိတ်မဲဆိုတာကြီးပဲ
Scotty is good. I don't think it's the biggest difference maker yet. I'm honestly just looking at Laurel. I think you need
အဲ့ဒါလမ်းပါတယ်လားပါတယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်တော့ဆက်တင်တယ်
some of their items. So like a good snap hold with a potential chain frost and the roll.
အနိုင်ရအိုးစကာရီပါရပါပြီဟုတ်ပြီဗျာ item 6ခွက်ရတိုးရိုးဒိန်းဝမ်းတော့ကလည်းသူ့ hero က item အပြည့်ကိုမှမခုတ်လိုက်ရဘူးဗောနော်ဒီပွဲကတော့သူခုတ်တော့ခုတ်နေရတယ်ခုတ်တော့ခုတ်နေရတယ်သူ
commit though for Yotaro. I mean, I'm trying to think of Yotoro's play here because Refresher you brought up as obviously a classic Faceless Void item. But if you don't have right-click damage and you're using like a lot of your damage in the chrono is your spells.
Lish ကသွေးထောင်းကနေရရှိတယ်။တက်ခိဘုံတစ်လုံးစားရတာ
It's true.
1000လောက်ပဲကျန်။1100လောက်ပဲကျန်။အေးမသေးဘူးလေ။
Yeah.
Yo.
In the form of Rue.
Well, Yandex have a superb hold on this game. 27k lead.
ကလင်းဟာအပြောင်းရသွားပြီပြီးသွားပါပြီပွဲက2စီသွားပြီကလင်းအပြောင်းရသွားရင်ဟိုကောင်လေးကလူနဲ့ဟီရိုဟီရိုတုံးပြီးတော့တာဝါချိုးစရာမလိုတော့မကယူစရာမလိုတော့
Also CJ went for a
အဲ့အရုပ်တွေထောင်လိုက်ရင်မကတလန်ပဲလှည့်ကြည့်စရာမလိုပြီး reverse ဘာထဲလိုက်ရင်ပွဲသိမ်းသွားရပြီးတော့ပွဲကခရိုနိုကြီးလက်ထဲမှာကင်နာပြီးတော့အဲ့ခွေးပြသွားပြီ
Looks like he'll be fine though. Collapse gets out.
မရိုင်းတယ်ကွာ2စီတဲ့
Oh, the cover of smoke and
အဲ့လေမိသွားပြီစမ်းစမ်းဒါဒီကောင်လေးတကယ်မလုပ်တီဖိုးကြားထဲမှာဆိုတော့တကယ်မလုပ်
Thank you for that kind of play.
ကလင်းက opening စောင့်နေ
They are slowing the centaur to a great degree. Toro comes in and is going to use the work.
ရော white ကိုမိသွားပြီ DKB ကြီးသွားပြီ white တိုင်ထဲဝင်နေတယ်ဟိုမှာ collapse အနောက်အေးအုပ်သွားပြီလေဘော်တင်နာအကြီးရှိတယ်အေးငါထင်တယ်ဟိုကောင်ဒီနာကနေပြီးတော့တောင်းလျှောက်ပတ်ပြီးတော့လေဘော်တင်နာအကြီးလာတင်သွားတယ်သွားပြီလေခရိုနိုလည်းမရှိဘူးဘိုင်မန်နဲ့ထွက်လာရင်တော့သွားပြီအဲ့လိုရတယ်ဒီကောင်လေးအဲ့ကြီး
And it's a double buyback for Spirit, but they find themselves in an enormous hole, an abyss. 35k deficit for them.
It's 80 seconds without Yatoro. Like Yandex might just do one of the impossibles, beating Spirit this early off at an EWC playoff.
Good sinister gaze, but the tornado is kind of gonna not clip anything. They actually do kill off DM. He's gonna buy back instantly, knowing that the Faceless Void likely cannot get back into this game. Leipnir onto 2. Sheep stick to follow. We're gonna wrap around and Watson just focusing on the barracks. This is gonna be a second set in favor of Yandex, and they can go for the megas right now if they want.
There's not a lot of damage left on Spirit. They can just walk it up.
Yatoro 1700 gold away from buyback, so not even remotely close. So 45 seconds they have to defend.
There's also no ults available.
Watson with the alacrity. Bushwhack as well. DM gets the opening stun. Into the tornado with the meteor to follow. Collapse.
Oh, I remember you survey ပြစ်ထဲလိုက် Obama ဖားပြောင်းမိနေတယ်ဘူးလည်းမသိဘူး Lish.
They delete Rue, and now the buildings shall melt.
ရုပ်တွေခင်းလိုက်ပြီပြီးသွားပါပြီဗျာ
And this is going to be megas.
BGT Tspirit.
And they're likely going to back away because the virus is telling them this is disciplined play. You have to back up. 15 seconds on Faceless.
Why, bro? Why?
3 minutes. Time to wait for that if you're Malady. Well, 37k lead, megas. Lots of you can build whatever you want, and with how Yandex are playing, this is an incredibly hard comeback for Spirit.
And Roche is
Chrono
up as
Blast
well,
so
so
မမိလား
likely to take that next once they regroup with all these extra.
Chrono Blast ကကပါတော့
You can just see, like they're making so many small problems. When your Toro goes in, they have double hex.
Voilà.
You can use one to break the Lincolns, then hex them up, and they did, kind of forcing something small out of it. There's a roll, and then if there's no nullifier on this Wind Waker, it's definitely a big problem, and you saw it there. They couldn't even kill Watson in the chrono.
Well, likely one last stand remains for Team Spirit. Former EWC champions might be vanquished by Yandex, who have had quite the incredible year, an unexpected year.
Yeah. No, they
Yandex ကအဲ့လောက်ကောင်းနေရင်တော့ champion ဖြစ်သွားနိုင်တယ်နော် Tspirit ကိုလည်းဒီမှာတသားလေးလုံနေတသားလေးတော့မဟုတ်ပါဘူးဒီကောင်တော်တော်ဆော့နေရတယ်ဆိုပေမဲ့အမြဲတမ်းတာနေ Tspirit ထက်အဲ့လို
It's difficult, right, against Mega.
အစင်းတစ်စင်းလောက်ဖြတ်တာနေမကစားတာတွေဟိုကောင်လေးတစ်လဲနေ
So this will end up being a freebie. Your
Tspirit အကြောင်းအရင်နဲ့နေသလားတော့မှတ်ရတယ်ကစားပြနေဟိုကောင်ချီရာဂျူနီယာကလည်းတော်တော်ကောင်းပြနေအင်မိုဂါကြီးနေ
Yeah, I was talking about collab, so
တူပြီးတူလောက်ပြနေ
We can let that slide.
Okay.
refresher
They can hold on for the next.
ကြပါရပါရောက်တယ်မှာ
That's another 10 minutes.
တက်ခီရပါဟိုပါလာပြီ level 25 level 25မှာလေဝတင်နာအကြီးနဲ့အဲ့ဆက်ဆာကလည်းညှော်တယ်ဟေးအားပြောင်းနေလေဝတင်နာအကြီးတွေ
They'll have to pull out something like that.
သူ့ပို့ဆိုက level 25အရင်ရအောင်တယ်ဒီဘက်ကမစ်ကကောင်က level 24ပဲရှိတယ်လာက level 24ပဲရှိတယ်
I think he can keep it on the Clinks. You can go double army and just throw a bunch of garbage out there in their way.
Double army, does that equal the original army that they had like 6 months ago that would just melt buildings by itself?
Probably. Maybe even the one army before is stronger than a double army now, because that hero was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And good luck reacting to the techies' minds now, as Saksa unlocks his 25 talent. He's got a catalyst, another neutral.
Fire RD နဲ့တော့သုံးပါတယ်
What is the delay
မော်တိုင်းမှာ kiss မော်တိုင်းမှာ kiss ကသုံးတယ်လေ
It's like over 1
chrono
second.
အားလီပိုင်းတွေမှာသုံးတယ်အားလီပိုင်းတွေမှာ
It's quite rough. Now it's like near instant.
chrono အုပ်လိုက်ဆစ်လေးကျဲလိုက်နဲ့အစင်တော့ပြေနေတယ်
Already a nuisance. Now
ဒီကမာနဲ့မတွေ့သေးလို့လေနေကမာကလည်း ဘယ်ဘုံကိုရှုံးမယ်ထင်တယ်နော်ဟုတ်တယ်နော် ဘယ်ဘုံပဲတက်မယ်ထင်တယ်
Pendulums, honestly, quite good neutral items, right? The overall against the Faceless Void, they kind of play for this overall, like blowing you up from full to 0. And 3 of their cores are holding on to a pendulum, or rather 2 cores. And Malady, who's kind of a core when it comes to the HP.
It is Team Spirit against Mega Creeps, though. Would you pick a different team to defend?
Absolutely
in
not.
all of history of Dota?
It has to be them. Don't have like they have okay defense, right? Of course, you have Battle Fury, you have Void, which is fine. Snapfire is okay. You have Lit Shield also, which is quite good against defending later. And if you ever reach the 25 talent, yeah, you get the HP regen.
on that.
I mean, also something else I want to see from Rue. Like you have buyback, you have Chain Frost on Def. After using your Chain Frost, I think you just blink in there and die to skeletons and pop another Chain Frost. And hope, and because you need every type of damage. When you're down this far, you need to scrape for every damage and every idea that you have. All right, how is Laurel doing? We need his 25 talent.
Man, he's still not there. Wow.
Yeah, he will have it soon.
That was, I feel like you had that conversation like 10 minutes ago.
He was level 23. They're not killing any heroes. They're losing every fight. They're just getting outplayed by Yandex. They're not giving them anything.
Chira looking for an opening. What are they waiting for Yandex? Is there an item? Okay, well, they're going to smoke nonetheless.
Mac
finish this right here, right now. Wrapping around the bottom side of the map. Pick a lane, any lane, and make your presence known.
ပါရီပြအောင်မလားပါရီပြမှာဒီပွဲပြီးရင်ပါရီပွဲ Oh, Aeon Disc နဲ့ Aeon Disc နဲ့ဒါမှလည်းသေပြီလား Nullifier နဲ့ရောအေး
But he still ends up dropping in the end. 2 minutes down and out.
Chrono Evo ကမိသွားပြီ Evo ကမိသွားပြီ
The horse cart is on techies. Not the target he wanted as the Invoker does fall. Obviously, Chira does have buyback, and they have Sinister Hole, by the way.
That's a good one.
Can they follow it up with anything? Batch.
There's
the Sinister Hole onto 3 here. Trying to do some damage. It's
melted.
Absolute destruction on his part. He's going to buy back instantly along with Laurel. But the damage is overwhelming from Yandex. As look at the Clinks just going to town on these buildings. Now an AoE deafening blast. Likely to end this game here. Another team wipe in favor of Yandex as GG's come out.
GG.
Do the champions in Team Spirit.
My favorites from this point onwards. They've been looking so good for a while. Also, I don't know if people Collapse died without buyback. Collapse rolled up. He made him roll into his own team because he blinked beyond him into the Yandex side. Something
ဒီဝမ်းတော့ Marana နဲ့အပြာချောင်းတွေဟိုဟာတွေနဲ့ game 2ကြောက်လဲကြည့်အောင် US Scepter တွေ
insanely good.
ဖားပြောင်းနေတယ်။ damage ဆောင်အောင်ထုတ်တယ်
Performance in this series. 1-9 on the Pango, the Titan. I don't remember the exact scoreline, but it left a lot to be desired. You have to give Yandex credit. They focused him down very early in that game number 1.
Sprit အားလုံးတဲခွဲသွားပြီတဲခွဲသွားပြီဆိုတော့က
Yandex in terms of in all the games that we've seen.
Semi final Yandex နဲ့တက်သွားဟိုဘက်တက်လာမဟုတ် PV နဲ့တွေ့မှာအဲ့ပွဲကတော့ကြည့်ကောင်းညီလေးတို့ကတော့ဒီဘက်သေချာပေါက်တက်လာမှာ Run Eater အဲ့လောက်မ strong ဟုတ်တယ်မလား Yeah, what a Run Eater.
When you look at some of the highlights, I think Watson is in so many moves.
ဒီကောင်နဲ့အဲ့လောက်မ strong တယ်
Like they're both ending the game 11-4-11. I think CJ I talked
ပူလိုရာနိုင်မိတက်လာနော်
Such an improved player. Very like individually skilled how he's performing.
That's a
မ
game.
strong တာထင်တာဒီကောင်တွေဖြုတ်လာတဲ့အသင်းတွေကလည်းတုံတန်ကောင်တွေတော့မဟုတ်ဘူးဥလူရာတို့ဘာလို့ဖြုတ်
Talk a little bit, you know, about Collapse who had a quiet series. I think
နားနေတော့ PV နဲ့ Run Eater နဲ့ပေါ့နော်
You're expecting them to come up big. And I think even in
အဲ့
this game, you know,
ပွဲကြမှာပဲပြန်တက်လာကြတော့
holding
ဟု
through.
တ်တယ်
And I think Yandex just clutch from
bye bye.
with how they play the map, the timings that they're waiting for. They are absolutely scary. I would not want to face this team.
No, absolutely not. They've shown
အန်တိုင်းဖန်ရတယ်တကယ်အဲ့အန်တိုင်းရေးဆိုးနေအန်တိုင်းရေး
inconsistent, I would say, earlier in the season, but not here
Okay,
today.
bye bye guys.
For an
See
interview
you.
on stage.
PV ပွဲကြမှာတက်ခဲ့မယ်
Thank you so much, guys. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Slayers of the Dragon, the beaters of the title defenders. Give it up for Malady, everybody. How we doing? Sir, the caster said it best. You are the scariest team in Dota right now. And let me ask you why. You guys play the same heroes. You guys make the meta, yet still, they just give it to you and you win. I don't get it. You guys play the exact same thing you always do, and one of the best teams in the world could not solve it. Why?
It's just the consistency, you know.